Chapter-161 first killed a level 40 bronze boss. The valley is empty and full of anxiety, and in the silence, the atmosphere becomes more and more dignified. Lu Han stood in front of the big crater where the lake water had evaporated, his shoulders constantly heaving, hunched over his waist and stared at Shimura Fire Store, panting violently. Of course he will not die in the aftermath of the ninjutsu showdown, even if it is the aftermath of the A-level ninjutsu showdown. With his strength, unless he does not defend, there is no possibility of death. The power of the aftermath is much weaker than the ninjutsu itself. If it was Chunin, it would definitely be unstoppable, but for Lu Han, who has mastered dozens of B-rank ninjutsu and hundreds of C-rank ninjutsu, the defense is easy. The same goes for Shimura Fire Storage. More than 100 meters away, at the other end of the valley, Shimura Hozo was standing there. The place was originally a forest, but it was completely destroyed by the aftermath of the ninjutsu showdown. Shimura Hozo was fine, and he also displayed his defense while retreating. Ninjutsu. They both gasped violently, staring at each other. I didn't expect, really. You're only 12. Shimura Hozo made a hoarse, low voice. Almost 13 years old, Lu Han, who was covered in blood, replied. Silence again. The wind blew the fine sand and rolled across the empty and flat ground between the two of them. The two who stared at each other slowed their breathing at the same time, and in the next moment, rush up at the same time. The two shadows approached rapidly, when they were 10 meters apart. Shimura Hozo took out the knife again. You die for me, Lu Han roared. Boom. The ground within 30 meters shattered at the same time, and bone spurs several meters long the thickness of a human arm sprang out from the ground. Shikatsumyaku, dead bone pulse, dance of the early fern. The frightened Shimura Huazang reacted unpleasantly. At the same moment when he sensed the vibration under his feet, he suddenly jumped into the air, and made a horrified cry to Lu Han, Kagaya clan. Raiden, thunder style, false darkness. Boom. The huge thunder spear flashed out from the bone spur forest. Shimura's pupil distance shrank in the air, his body flickered in the air, and he instantly moved 3 meters away, evading the attack of Raiden, thunder style, false darkness. Shikatsumyaku, dead bone pulse, 10-finger piercing. Puff, puff, puff. In less than 3 seconds, Lu Han fired 3 kinds of high-speed attack ninjutsu. Shimura, who has exhausted his means, has nowhere to hide. Blood burst out. At least 3 bone finger bullets penetrated his body. You, who the hell are you? Shimura Hozo let out a shrill roar, and the man fell backward in the air. After he shouted this sentence, he fell into the forest of bone spurs, staggered vertically and diagonally. Thick and long bone spurs pierced several bowl-sized holes in his body. Wow! The golden light shone like a burst of fireworks, and dozens of falling objects scattered like spraying izumi. Ding! Congratulations to Subversive 3665 for killing a level 40 bronze boss. The elf's prompt sounded beside Lu Han's ears. The battle is over. Bone spurs that were several meters long and the thickness of a human arm quickly retracted to the ground, and the valley became empty again. Lu Hanyao, covered in blood, looked at Shimura's corpse. His face was pale, he was gasping for breath, his legs were shaking slightly, as if he was going to be unable to stand. Chakra bottoms out. Physical and mental strength both bottom out. 40% of blood loss. In this battle, Lu Han fought extremely hard. Although the fighting time was not long, the rhythm was extremely fast. Both sides made more than one big move. Lu Han almost died under the attack of Ghost Flame, although he succeeded in killing the elite in the end. Jonin Shimura Fire Store, this bronze boss with a rating of 40, but relying not on ninjutsu, but Kekkei Genkei Shikatsumyaku, dead bone pulse. Lu Han realized his own problem, that is, the ninjutsu is not enough. There is no offensive ninjutsu powerful enough to take an overwhelming advantage. In this case, killing Jonin is easy, but killing elite Jonin is difficult. But one thing is worth affirming, that is, in today's battle, Lu Han did not add chakra. Standing on the spot and panting for a while, the fallen objects had all turned into streamers and penetrated into Lu Han's body. Lu Han felt that his body had recovered a lot, and then walked towards Shimura's body. Shimura couldn't rest his eyes. He didn't know that Lu Han would Shikatsumyaku, dead bone pulse, otherwise he wouldn't rush to Lu Han stupidly. Because the final method of death was too tragic and the body was too bloody, Lu Han didn't care and put his hand on it. Ding! Deprivation failed. Ding! Deprivation failed. Ding! Deprivation failed. Ding! Deprivation success. Get, psychopharmacology. Ding! Deprivation failed. 5 chances, 1 success. This is because Shimura is the first boss to be killed. If it is not the first kill, the possibility of depriving the item will be greatly reduced. At this time, Lu Han has not yet killed the level 30 gold boss. In addition, starting from the level 40 bronze boss, there are 10 types of bosses from high to low, including the special boss of level 25 diamond, all of which have completed the first kill. Just when Lu Han completed the first kill of the level 40 boss, in the eastern part of the country of Vortex, on the grassland, a strong bloody smell filled the wind, and within a radius of several hundred meters, there were corpses everywhere, maybe more than 200, some lost their heads, some were chopped into 2 pieces, and some were even broken into pieces. There are big pits one after another on the ground, and the traces of ninjutsu attacks are obvious. This is a high-profile ninja team in Uzushiogakure village. More than 20 jonin, 100 chunin, and more than 120 genin were assembled, belonging to the elite brigade of Uzushiogakure village, and just half an hour ago, this ninja brigade was attacked, just half an hour ago. In an hour, almost the entire army was wiped out, and only 2 people were still alive. Captain, Uzumaki Kururi, about 20 years old. Captain's assistant, Yuhi Haihong, a sturdy middle-aged man. Uzumaki Kinglin knelt on the ground, his whole body was covered in cold sweat, his face was pale, and there was fresh yuhi on his abdomen. He looked up at the 7 figures standing on the grassy slope, and his eyes flashed with fear. Is it him? Munashi Guichi asked in a low voice, glancing at Zhongheim. Zhongheim made a nasal sound. Munashi Guichi looked at Yuhi Haihong, who was kneeling beside him, and said coldly, Go back and tell Uzumaki Jinghai, give him 5 days to hand over the murderer who killed Kurigakure Hanoin, otherwise. Let him come and give him the only one the sun collects the body. Chapter-162 Rasengan Scroll. Yuhi Haihong was very lightly injured, and the 7 members of the Ninja Blade of Mist deliberately let him go, in order to leave one person to report. Uzumaki Kurenai's face changed dramatically when he heard Munashi Guichi's words. He just thought that he could live because the other party was afraid of his father, and he didn't kill him because he was worried, but he didn't expect that they were just trying to take him as a hostage, which is not at all a random encounter. Yes, I'll go back right away. Yuhi Haihong had already got up, and with a dark panic look, he ran away. Munashi Guichi watched Yuhi Haihong go away, with a mocking smile at the corner of his mouth, and said in a low voice, Uzushiogakure village. A shinobi village that relies on shelter to exist, it's too bad. It's really too bad. Uzushiogakure village. The quality of the ninjas is much worse than that of the 5 major ninja villages. It can even be said that very few of them have the courage to die. Yuhi Haihong flew across the grassland, and soon disappeared from the sight of the 7 people. You dare to threaten my father. You will regret it. Uzumaki Kururi finally cried out angrily. Call. Munashi Guichi suddenly appeared in front of Uzumaki Kururi, with the big sword in his hand already resting on Uzumaki Kurenai's neck, and said gloomily, What did you just say? The courage that Uzumaki had just mentioned disappeared in an instant, his eyes were frightened, and his body even trembled. You can't kill me. If you kill me, you won't get anything. Any information. Puchi. Slash with a big knife. A big head soared into the sky. The valley with no life is full of anxiety. After Lu Han dealt with everything, he opened and closed the small map and glanced at it. Then he ran out of the valley. He didn't drink medicine or change his clothes. He was covered in blood and there was not much chakra just now. Well, Luhan doesn't need to disguise anymore. The traces of battles in the valley could not be removed, but it didn't matter. The country of Vortex was so big, and it was in turmoil. There were battles every day. Even if someone found out that there was a war in the valley, it was impossible to think of Luhan. Leaving the valley, Luhan went straight to the direction of Uzushiobakur village, but after running for dozens of kilometers, he stopped again, found a relatively hidden depression in the leafy forest, and sat directly in the grass. Wow! A wave of his hand, the drop reward for the first kill of the level 40 bronze boss covered a small piece in front of Luhan, and the drop was not too much. There were only more than 30 pieces in total. But this is only a difference in quantity, not a grade at all in terms of quality. 3 C-rank ninjutsu scrolls. All of them were Luhan who had no master before. 6 grade B ninjutsu scrolls. 4 kinds of futon wind style, 2 kinds of kaiden fire style. Shimura Fire Store Anbu is code-named Wind Fire, because he is good at ninjutsu with the 2 attributes of wind and fire, and commonly used futon wind style, but the strongest is kaiden fire style. Luhan picked up one of the B-rank ninjutsu scrolls and grinned. Kaiden fire style, the art of demon fire. This technique almost killed Luhan. Although Luhan did not understand this technique before, it was enough to show how powerful this technique was. Although the attack range is small, the release speed is even comparable to false darkness, and the power is even more than false darkness. That is, the attack distance is not as fast as false darkness. Check again. A grade ninjutsu scroll, Kaiden fire style, meteor shower. Rasengan. Luhan's mind buzzed, the boss who stared at it for a moment, Rasengan. It actually exploded Rasengan. This A-level ninjutsu, created by the 4th generation Hokage Namikaze Minato in the original work and carried forward in the hands of the original protagonist Uzumaki Naruto, was actually revealed by Shimura Hokage. A very low probability thing to happen. Luhan had a special setting in the drop rate rule before, that is, killing the first boss may drop the skills of the killed boss but not the master. Luhan still clearly remembers that he came to this world to kill the first one. Ninja, then the Omegakure scout who is rated as a level 20 bronze boss. He does not know Kaiden fire style ninjutsu, but drops the Kaiden fire style ninjutsu scroll. It's true. Luhan was a little dumbfounded. He stretched out his hand and slowly picked up the scroll. He couldn't even believe that he got Rasengan like this. This technique is worth 20 ingots in the subversive space, which is more than the ordinary price of a grade ninjutsu scrolls or twice as expensive. In the current Hokage world where Luhan is located, Rasengan has not been developed yet, and it belongs to a non-existent technique. Luhan uses it, and it can be said that he created it himself. Compared with the powerful A-level Kaiden fire style attack ninjutsu, Rasengan looks very weak, but in fact this technique is very powerful, but the type is different. Even if it is a Rasengan that has just been learned to use, its power is also it is enough to smash steel directly, and in terms of chakra consumption, if it takes 10 points of chakra to use an A-level high-power group attack ninjutsu, then it only takes 1 point to use Rasengan, or even less. The source of Rasengan's power is not the amount of chakra output, but the twisting and tearing force generated by the rapid rotation of chakra to form a destructive force, which requires extremely high chakra control. Rasengan is a technique that is extremely difficult to practice but requires less chakra to use. Of course, this is also relatively speaking. For Luhan at this time, the consumption is indeed very small. Is it luck? Luhan murmured subconsciously. It's not luck. The elf's voice suddenly sounded in Luhan's mind. Remind Subversive 3665. Subversive 3665 had previously killed a level 40 bronze boss for the first time, and there is a special explosion rate. What special explosion rate? Luhan immediately asked back. It's the special explosion rate for the first kill of each stratum. Elf continued, the Subversive's first kill of a level 40 bronze boss is also the first to kill a level 40 boss, so it has a special explosion rate, which makes it more important for the subversive to get technique. Is that so? Lu Han blinked and frowned again, but why? It doesn't seem to be there before. Level 10, Level 20, Level 30. I have completed the first kill of the stratum, but not. What does Subversive 3665 think is a more important technique? The elf asked rhetorically. This question stopped Lu Han. Chapter-163 _ Burst Rate. A more important technique. Lu Han muttered, as if he understood, and quickly said, you mean a technique with a high enough level, at least A level. That's not the case, the subversive has a wrong understanding. The elf continued, C-level ninjutsu, no matter what kind of art is it, which one is important? The rules are judged to be important, and the subversive 3665 will ignore it. In fact, every time the subversive completes the first kill of the tier, a special explosion rate is triggered. Quote. The subversive first kills the 10th level golden boss Teodiki, completes the 10th level first kill, triggers a special explosion rate, and drops the C-level ninjutsu and water body. The subversive first kills the level 20 bronze boss Thistle Fog, completes the first kill of the level 20 stratum, triggers the special explosion rate, and drops the B-level physique and strange power. The subversive first kills the 30 level bronze boss Asada Kua, completes the first kill of the 30 level stratum, triggers a special explosion rate, and drops the B-level secret technique, Shadow Flash. The water body technique is an extremely clever C-rank ninjutsu, a physical technique with extraordinary power, a technique that requires extremely high talent and is extremely practical. These two techniques have been of great help to subversives, but Subversive Writer 3665 did not realize that there is a special drop in the drop, and the Shadow Flash technique, Asada Juhei himself is a master. In fact, the advanced ninjutsu of the instant body type has the lowest explosion rate among various dropped items. Even if it is the first kill boss, even if he is a master, and there is no special drop, it is difficult to fall out. Quote. Subversive is not the first time to kill a boss with Master's advanced telekinesis, but in addition to Shadow Flash, has Subversive obtained other advanced telescoping techniques? The elf finally asked. No, Lu Han shook his head directly. It could be called an advanced telekinesis technique, at least it had to reach the B level. The basic telekinesis technique would definitely not be counted, and the stand-in technique with the ability of telekinesis that could be swapped would also be counted. Not counting. Lu Han immediately looked at the ground in front of him. There are no other scrolls, and all the scrolls that can allow the subversive to master directly have been counted, which means that this time I killed Shimura Hozo, and I did not get the scroll of the instant body. Shimura Huazang fought with Lu Han this time. He used advanced telekinesis more than once. The first time he escaped Lu Han's supergiant grand fireball, and the second time he escaped false darkness. According to the elves, the burst rate of the instant body technique is extremely low. Unless there is a special burst rate, it is difficult to drop even if the killed boss is a master itself. Although there is a special explosion rate this time, Rasengan has been released. The appearance of Rasengan consumes the special explosion rate, so the instant body technique did not explode. So, when I kill a level 50 boss for the first time, the special explosion rate will be triggered again, and I can drop more important spells. Lu Han asked inwardly. Yes, the elf said simply. Will it be S-class? Can't answer. Okay. In fact, Lu Han also understands that the more important skill is not a higher level. For example, Lu Han's first kill of a level 20 boss triggers a special explosion rate, and he gets B-level physical magic power, while the first kill of a level 30 boss triggers a special explosion rate. Trigger the special explosion rate and get the B-level Shadow Flash technique. This time, the level 40 is an A-level Rasengan. Next level 50 may also be A-level, such as Majestic Destroyer Flame, Great Fire Annihilation, such as Rashomon, or even Horaishin. Of course, no one can guarantee this kind of thing, and neither can the elves, because the elves also don't know what the title of the level 50 boss that Lu Han will kill first in the future, whether it is a gold title or a bronze title, everything is hard to say. After clearing his mind, Lu Han began to count again. Big Yuhi bottle for 4. 5 big blue bottles. 4 penultimate weapons. 11 ingots. This time, the first killing of the 40-level bronze boss, a total of 36 items were obtained, all of which were counted. The obvious difference is that when Lu Han killed a level 30 boss before, he would get some garbage, such as crude weapons, but this time he didn't get any. After all, it was the elite Jonin who were killed. In a real game, it was a high-level boss. Even if some garbage were really exploded, it was still high-level garbage. What should be used? What should be received? Lu Han immediately stood up, and took out an excellent long knife from his space backpack. Call. Lu Han's other hand instantly poured out a large amount of chakra, forming a sphere that was larger than his fist. The chakra swirled in a staggered manner, and the speed became faster and faster, and the light emitted became more and more dazzling. Without a hand seal, and only a small amount of chakra can produce powerful and destructive spells. Rasengan. Boom. Snapped. Lu Han directly slapped Rasengan on the fine long knife, and the knife instantly shattered into pieces. Okay. Lu Han couldn't help shouting. As far as the general Jonin is concerned, the weapons used are rated according to the rules, that is, the excellent level. Only a very few special existences will have more special weapons. The LV1 Rasengan can directly smash the excellent level weapons, which may be possible after Lu Han. In the encounter of the battle, the effect will be very large. Especially when it comes to sneak attacks in melee combat, Rasengan's instant hits are hard to guard against. This is a killer move for the current Lu Han. 2 days later, the village of Konoha. The quaint room, the long tree collapsed, Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo were sitting opposite each other, and they were playing a chess game. The situation on the chessboard was still unclear. Can't say who is better at chess. You seem to be in a good mood recently. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was looking at the board, said suddenly. Huh, Danzo smiled lightly, really? No, but it's just because there are less trivial matters recently, so I'm here to play a few more games with you. Naturally, Danzo wouldn't tell Sarutobi Hiruzen that being in a good mood is only one aspect. Let's see Sarutobi Hiruzen's reaction. The news of Hengguang's death is also coming back to Konoha, and Danzo wants to know what Sarutobi Hiruzen's face will be when he hears the news. Wow! The window of the room suddenly opened, the wind blew into the room, and a bird the size of a pigeon appeared on the table. Chasing Falcon. Lord Hokage, urgent information from Uzushiogakure village. Hayabusa said, spitting out the pocket scroll. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned and quickly picked up the scroll. Danzo looked up and looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen's face. Chapter 0164_Go Crazy Danzo. There is a special bag in the body of the wind-chasing falcon, which can store small objects. Every time he swallows the information scroll, it is placed in the bag, so the pocket scroll that is spit out is dry and not stained with any dirt. Sarutobi Hiruzen unprinted the pocket scroll, quickly unfolded it and looked at it, then frowned deeper and deeper, and a look of anger appeared in his eyes. What's the matter? Danzo asked casually, holding his chess piece. He was Hokage's assistant and theoretically had the right to know any information. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Danzo with a serious expression. What? Danzo asked again. Shimura Hozo died fighting to protect Han, Sarutobi Hiruzen said. Snapped. Held by Danzo fell directly on the chessboard, bounced off the chessboard, fell to the ground, and rolled out a long way. Danzo's whole body froze, keeping one hand pressed against the table and pinching the chess piece forward, staring at Sarutobi Hiruzen with wide eyes. It was an accident, Sarutobi Hiruzen said again. He didn't think there was anything wrong with Danzo, because Shimura Hiruzen was Danzo's cousin. Why are you dead? Danzo stared at Sarutobi Hiruzen with wide eyes. He subconsciously pressed on the chessboard, grabbed a few pieces, and kneaded them into powder. Danzo doesn't care about Shimura's life or death. He was just a little confused. How could Shimura be dead? Han is still alive. Danzo received a message from Swift a day ago. It has been confirmed that Shimura Hozo completed the task of assassinating Han, and it should be Han who died. But now Sarutobi Hiruzen says Shimura Hozo died to protect the chill. This is fucking bullshit. But the information that Sarutobi Hiruzen received will not make such a low-level mistake. Who dies and who lives is the easiest thing to tell. 4 days ago, Shimura Hozo took the identity of the Anbu ninja, Wind Fire, to protect Han from going to the Land of Water. They had just left the village of Uzushiogakure for a day. In the early hours of the night, they encountered Anbu in the village of Kurigakure in the eastern forest of the Land of Vortex. Of the 7 people, Shimura Huazang evacuated to cover Han and died on the spot. Han relied on his superb anti-tracking skills to escape from the pursuit at night, but he was also seriously injured and returned to Uzushiogakure the day before yesterday afternoon. Sarutobi Hiruzen after speaking, he handed the pocket scroll to Danzo. Sarutobi Hiruzen never concealed this kind of information about foreign enemies from Danzo. Although the two had a rivalry, it was an internal matter in Konoha village, and their attitude towards the outside world had always been the same. Danzo took a quick glance at the unfolded pocket scroll. His mood has fallen from heaven to hell. This huge contrast makes him unacceptable. Even his hands are shaking, angry, disappointed, annoyed, cannot accept. All of these seem to be there, and the mood becomes extremely negative. Mizukage actually sent a group of 7 ninja swords into the country of the Vortex. It seems that he really wants to start a war. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face became more and more gloomy. Damn him. Danzo bit Kiba and said with a sudden stab, the scroll of excellent quality was torn apart by Danzo. Damn him. Ambitious guy. Sarutobi Hiruzen also said. The two said that the damned is not alone at all. Sarutobi Hiruzen is talking Mizukage. And Danzo is talking cold. There's something wrong with him. There's something wrong with him. This thunderous roar had been echoing in Danzo's mind for a long time. He just suspected that there was something wrong with Han, because there was no evidence, he could only suspect. And now he is completely sure that Han really has a problem. Because he has evidence. The information before and after is inconsistent, and something must have happened in the middle. But Danzo couldn't say it. He couldn't tell Sarutobi Hiruzen that he had been trying to assassinate the teenager who had been favored and trusted by Sarutobi Hiruzen. Danzo, I know that you have always taken good care of your clan, and have a deep relationship with them. Don't worry, Huozang's death. Someone must pay for this. Sarutobi Hiruzen said heavily. Danzo didn't speak. He looked at the information scroll that he had torn apart again. His eyes were extremely terrifying. Danzo is a very stubborn person and never gives up what he wants to accomplish. He made no secret of his emotions. Not just because Sarutobi Hiruzen got it wrong. In front of ordinary Konoha ninjas, Danzo is majestic and very stern. Because those are subordinates, Danzo needs to keep a sense of distance from them, and they need to make them unsure of their own minds, so that they can better control, and Danzo needs to keep a distance from them. With Sarutobi Hiruzen, the two grew up together, supported each other, and competed to grow, so Danzo was not used to hiding his emotions in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen. The country of Vortex, Uzushiogakure village Konoha Anbu Station. In the huge indoor practice field, only Luhan was alone, sitting in the middle of the field, silent. Luhan has been back in Uzushiogakure village for 3 days, and he has never made any public appearances or seen Tsunade in these 3 days. Anbu has Anbu's rules. Tsunade is not Anbu's person, so in special circumstances, Luhan can't go to see her. Naturally, he can't tell Tsunade about the information about the 7 people of the Ninja Blade of Mist, unless she happens to meet her. If it's Senju Nozomi, he shouldn't hide it from Tsunade. Now in Uzushiogakure village, the only one who knows that Luhan is back, except Anbu Ninja, is Uzumaki Jinghai, because he is the leader of Uzushiogakure village. Any ninja who comes to Uzushiogakure village, he must know. At the same time, Uzushiogakure village military headquarters. Where's the people? Uzumaki asked eagerly. with anger on his face. There were many people in the lobby of the military headquarters, among them a middle-aged ninja with a pale face sitting on a chair. Seeing Uzumaki entering the door in shock, he suddenly stood up and took a few steps forward. He knelt on the ground and shouted, "Sir! It is Yuhi Haihong. Just you come back alone." Uzumaki Jinghai grabbed Yuhi Haihong's neck and pulled it straight up. "Sir, they're all dead. They're all dead, only the young master is alive. They said, kill Fei Nin's murderer. If they can't, Yuhi Haihong was extremely excited, and he usually poured beans into the situation quickly. "Say it." Uzumaki Jinghai's face became extremely ugly, his eyes were bloodshot, but he couldn't say a word. The atmosphere in the military hall was solemn. A moment of silence. There are few members of the Uzumaki clan, and each one is very important, not to mention Uzumaki Kenglin. He is the son of Uzumaki Jinghai, the only descendant. Go and ask Han Guang to come over," Uzumaki said suddenly in shock. Chapter 0165 Cage Level Boss. On the huge indoor practice field, Lu Han, who had been sitting cross-legged for a long time, suddenly moved. Suddenly disappeared in place, and appeared more than 100 meters away in a flash, the secret technique, the technique of shadow flash. "It's really hard to change." Lu Han rubbed his chin and murmured as he walked to the position where he was sitting cross-legged. For the past 3 days, Lu Han has not done anything else in Uzushiogakure village, and has been studying the technique of shadow flash. He wanted to improve the technique of shadow flash. Shadow flash was a speed-type instant body technique. It could only go straight in the process of moving. What Lu Han wanted to do was to turn around while moving. He wasn't on a whim, but because of Rasengan. In the original work, Rasengan was created by the 4th generation Hokage Namikaze Minato, and he had practiced the Hiraishin technique created by the 2nd generation Hokage Senju Tobarama. The combination of these two techniques gave Namikaze Minato a terrifying ability to kill enemies. Using the space-type instant technique Hiraishin to get close to the enemy, and using the Rasengan capable of melee instant casting to attack the enemy, Namikaze Minato killed many enemies by this method, and the killing efficiency is outrageous. And Lu Han doesn't know Hiraishin. Hiraishin is an S-level space-type teleportation technique. At this time, in the subversive space, Lu Han didn't even unlock the lowest-priced S-level technique exchange item, let alone the extraordinary Hiraishin technique. There are not so many ingots, so naturally there is no chance to exchange them. So he can only work hard on the technique of shadow flash. Hiraishin, the effect of shadow flash is very different, but for Lu Han, as long as he has the ability to turn in shadow flash, coupled with Rasengan, his strength will be greatly improved at this time. Returning to the previous position and sitting down, Lu Han quickly hand-sealed and remarked on his arm. Lu Han suddenly thought, do I need to work hard on hand-seal to make different ninjutsu marks, or make some subtle changes to the current ninjutsu marks? Call. Chakra fluctuations suddenly appeared outside the door, and someone came. Captain Hengguang. Senju Nazara's voice sounded outside the door. Lu Han squeezed the seal with one hand and disappeared directly into the practice field. Outside, on the doorstep, Lu Han appeared beside Senju Xuan out of thin air. At this time, the two of them had the same level of position in Anbu, and neither could rule over the other. Senju was a very stable and kind person. Although he had the first strength among the 17 leaders, he was not arrogant at all. Since Lu Han became the team leader, he has always treated Lu Han with courtesy. If it was Tsunade, he would definitely have appeared in the practice ground just now, but Senju Xuan would never. Uzumaki Jinghai wants to talk to you, Senju Xuan said directly before Lu Han appeared. Oh, Lu Han blinked twice. What's the matter? Why didn't he come to me? Does he need me to go to him? The Uzumaki ninja who came to tell me said it was about your discovery of the 7 ninja swordsmen of mist. Speaking of this Senju Nozumaki, he was a little worried and frowned. The 7 cold-blooded perverts appeared in the vortex country. Although I don't know the intention, it's definitely not a good thing. Maybe it will provoke a war. Lord Hokage has not replied to me, I can only stand by here, but Uzumaki Jinghai has already started to arrange, he is looking for you. Probably wanting to know more about that day. Quote. In the village of Uzushiogakure, Uzumaki Jinghai is not allowed to contact the Konoha Anbu ninja at will, and everything must be approved by Senju no Kihara. Although Senju no Kihara is not as powerful as Uzumaki Jinghai, he represents Konoha. Konoha Anbu's ninjas exist in Uzushiogakure village as friendly troops, and they will not be dispatched by Uzumaki Jinghai. Luhan took out the mask and put it on, and left the courtyard with Senju Shion. Under the leadership of Senju Nozomi, the two crossed the Hiroshi building complex in most of the core area, and finally came to a courtyard full of small trees. Senju Nazara stopped outside. You're not going in? Luhan asked. He said he wanted to talk to you alone, and I was waiting for Hokage-sama's order, and I didn't need to communicate too much with Uzumaki Jinkai. Senju Nozomi explained with a smile. Luhan's face was strange, and there was a flash in his eyes. He understood Senju Shion, it was just an excuse. As an elite jonin stationed abroad all the year round, and a Senju ninja whose ancestors are distant relatives of the Uzumaki family, he has reason to be with Uzumaki. Jinghai kept his distance so that he could sit firmly in his seat. For a ninja village, the most important thing for ninjas is not strength and courage, but loyalty. So he had to keep his distance from Uzumaki Jinghai. In the simple wooden house filled with incense for Shishi festival, in the lobby, Luhan saw Uzumaki who had been waiting for a long time in shock. At the first moment of entering the door, Luhan was shocked, because the color of Uzumaki Jinghai's name was flashing. When Yuhi is orange, hesitant malice, and whenever his name is Yuhi, Luhan can see the details of Uzumaki's shocking strength. Uzushiogakure village leader level 60 bronze boss Uzumaki shocked the sea. Why is he malicious to me? Why? What exactly is it? Luhan was calm on the outside, but he was screaming in his heart, level 60. The highest level that Luhan has seen so far. This is not the level that Jonin can have. Film. Let's call it shadow for the time being. What the movie in the original book represents is not strength, but identity. The leaders of the 5 major ninja villages call Yin-Yang, but to become Yin-Yang also requires strong strength to convince the public, so it is not wrong to use cage level to describe the strength. Luhan's whole heart has been raised, and he has to guard against it, because this guy is too strong, and he is good at the sealing technique that claims to be able to suppress all abilities. Where did Uzumaki's terrifying malice come from? Luhan could not have imagined that this guy was crazy and dared to hurt Konoha Anbu's squad leader. If this kind of thing is known to Konoha, he will be finished. The betrayal of an ally is always more angrier than the assassination of an enemy. Sir, look for me. Luhan stopped in the middle of the room. How much do you know about the 7 ninja swordsmen of mist? Uzumaki asked with a faint smile, like a gentle elder. Not much. The 7 people I know of the ninja swords are all from Anbu intelligence. Luhan said indifferently, his eyes under the mask were very calm. In fact, Luhan was already highly vigilant. The ghost knows whether Uzumaki will be shocked by the sea. Start suddenly. Chapter-161 He has a problem. What Luhan was worried about didn't happen. Although Uzumaki Jinghai was malicious towards Luhan, and Yuhi's orange name flashed alternately, it meant he was hesitant, but he didn't plan to do anything to Luhan at all. Dare not. He just wanted to talk about Luhan's words. He tried to learn more about Luhan through side-by-side attacks. He asked a lot of questions. He admired Luhan's ability to kill Fei Ren, and then asked when Luhan joined Anbu and how old he was. Who is the teacher? Of course, it was a very subtle question, and it didn't make people plan or feel that they were being inquired about their privacy. There was even a feeling that the elders cared about the younger generation. He even asked the question of whether Luhan was married. If you change to other Anbu ninjas, you might be flattered. After all, Uzumaki's identity is there. Luhan was naturally not flattered. He knew that Uzumaki Jinghai was malicious, and his preconceived thinking made Lu Han keenly aware of what Uzumaki Jinghai wanted to do. He wanted to know Lu Han's true identity. That's it. Therefore, Lu Han's mouth was very strict. He hardly said anything, avoiding all the problems of Uzumaki's shock. Either he was silent, or he used Konoha Anbu as a shield. Lu Han didn't say anything about Anbu's internal affairs, and Uzumaki's shock couldn't actively ask. That's a big no-no. The meeting between the two lasted for an hour before and after, and then Lu Han rejected Uzumaki Jinghai's proposal to help him train ninjas and left Konoha Anbu Station in Uzushiogakure village. As soon as Lu Han came back, he found Senju Shuan in the command room. "I am back." Senju Shuan, who was sitting behind the desk, saw Lu Han entering the door, so he raised his head with a smile and said, "Captain Hengwang, how are you talking?" "There is something wrong with Uzumaki's shocking sea." Lu Han walked to the table and said directly, holding the table with both hands and lowering his voice. "Huh." Senju Shuan frowned suddenly, his smile slowly faded, and he became serious, looking at Lu Han and said, "Captain Hengwang, you can't talk nonsense like this. Do you have any definite information? Or have you discovered it? What's the problem?" "He's lying to me, always." Lu Han's expression was also extremely serious. "I don't have any evidence, but his behavior is abnormal, like he wants to know what my true identity is." "Could it be an illusion?" Senju Norihara asked back. He had been stationed in Uzushiogakure village for not a day or two, so it was hard to believe that there would be a problem with Uzumaki Jinghai. "You should believe me." Lu Han stared at Senju Sheyuan's eyes. "This is not a trivial matter. You can check it out. Did something happen in Uzushiogakure village?" Senju Nozomi was silent for a while, then said slowly, "I hope you are wrong." He will check, but he didn't want Uzumaki Jinghai to really have a problem, otherwise it would be trouble, big trouble. Konoha village. 4 days after Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen got the information of the Seven of Mist ninja sword, Anbu completed all recent intelligence analysis on the village of Kurigakure and presented it to Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, who held an interim assembly. This is not an ordinary high-level meeting. The high-level meeting is only attended by ninjas who are high-level Konoha. In this day's meeting, in addition to the high-level Konoha ninjas, there are also the patriarchs of the large and small tribes of Konoha, as well as the elite Jonin who have not yet done their tasks, and a few important people. Jonin serving in the department. The total number of participants exceeded 100. The topic of this meeting is naturally the village of Kurigakure in the country of water and the village of Uzushiogakure in the country of vortex. Situation is getting more and more tense, and the actions in the village of Kurigakure are already an act of war. The real war might break out at some point, and Konoha had to prepare for it. The large conference room is blocked by curtains and the light is very dim. Just halfway through the meeting, the door of the conference room suddenly opened, and Anbu Ninja with a mask on his face and a cold breath rushed through the door, arrived at Sarutobi Hiruzen's side, and respectfully handed the pocket scroll over. Sarutobi Hiruzen opened the scroll expressionlessly, glanced at it, and then frowned. Who was sitting on the side, probed slightly. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at it, and handed the scroll over. Danzo looked at the content, his face remained the same, and handed the scroll to the masked figure on the left, Anbu Captain Hatake Sakumo. "Lord Hokage, do you want me?" Hatake Sakumo said after reading the content. "No need," Sarutobi Hiruzen said directly, tapping his finger on the table. "Continue the meeting." The meeting continues. One ever noticed that there was an inexplicable gleam in Danzo's eyes. Uzushiogakure village Konoha Anbu stronghold information. Ignoring Senju Nazara's dissuasion, Han left Uzushiogakure village alone without the protection of senior ninjas, and went to the land of water to continue the mission of chasing missing nin. Time flies. In the blink of an eye, it is already half a month later. The northern island of the land of water. On the coast, it was a sunny morning, but the sea was very cold. The sea breeze was strong, with sufficient water vapor and the unique salty smell of the ocean. A small fishing boat appeared on the sea level in the distance. It took a full hour for the small fishing boat to reach the shoal. Two people jumped off the fishing boat, a boy of about 12 or 13 years old, wearing fat sackcloth pants. As well as the shirts with badly worn necklines, they were thin and shivered uncontrollably when the sea breeze blew. The other is a middle-aged man in his 30s, with a medium stature and a more heroic appearance. His clothes are thinner than that of the boy, but he looks in good health and seems to be used to this kind of weather. It's cold here. They were like a father and son who had just returned from fishing. There were indeed a lot of fish in the water tank of the small fishing boat. The two dragged the small fishing boat to the beach with the fiber rope, tied it to the wooden stake, and then fished out the fish in the water tank and used two nets, one large and one small. All right, pick them up one by one and walk towards the woods behind the beach. Lord Han Guang, will it be dangerous for us to go in without weapons? The middle-aged man suddenly asked in a low voice. It's dangerous to go in with a weapon. The young man replied in a low voice. Yes, it was Lu Han. The important trading village called Zinbei Village, in the northern part of the land of water that the two of them pretended to sneak into today was the news from a few days ago that Uchiha Gumu used to haunt here, and had frequent encounters with some people who were suspected to be ninjas from the land of water. Touch. Chapter 0167_Zinbei Village. Lu Han left the village of Uzushiogakure in the afternoon after feeling the threat of Uzumaki's shock from the sea. He arrived in the land of water 5 days later. He only followed the special mark that the Konoha Anbu ninja would leave during the mission. Locate the several Konoha Anbu squads that have gathered together. With Kato Kai and a few people around, and Lu Han wearing a domination ring, he easily proved his captain's identity. The sound of the waves is getting farther and farther, in the woods. Lu Han walked forward, his shoulders were a little crooked, as if he was struggling. On his shoulders was a slightly smaller fishing net, which was still dripping water, and contained hundreds of fish of various sizes. 60 to 70 pounds. For a boy of 12 or 13 years old, it should be difficult to carry it, but if it is a child of a fisherman's family, it should be able to do it. He has done physical work since childhood and has strength. Beside Lu Han, the middle-aged man with a bigger fishing net, disguised as an adult fisherman, was actually the most powerful ninja in Anbu's pursuit of missing nin this time. Elite Jonin Mito Kyo. Born from the Mito clan in Konoha village, his strength must be rated at level 40 according to the rules, but he does not have the official position of captain. Strength is not the only criterion for becoming a squad leader, just like Lu Han now only has a special Jonin, so he has served as the squad leader, and he is also the leader of this mission. Anbu has a lot of ninjas who are stronger than Lu Hanming, but they not Lu Han has the ability. 2 hours later. It is already 8 or 9 in the morning. After walking for more than 10 miles, the two finally saw the shadow of the village and gradually met some pedestrians. Because Zinbei Village is not a pure trading village, it is also an important defense line in the northern part of the land of water and is a strategic location. Therefore, a large number of Kurigakure ninjas are stationed in Zinbei Village. Lu Han had to be careful. He had been a fisherman for 3 days, and he really did what a fisherman can do, so he set off to Zinbei Village in order to better disguise himself. 10-10 is really good today. There are so many people. The storm the other day was really scary. Yeah, the weather in the north is not as good as in our south, sometimes good and sometimes bad. Lu Han and Mito Jing chatted casually, all the way forward, getting closer and closer to Zinbei Village. Lu Han opened the minimap. 10 kilometers maximum range. A piece of Yuhi color. Zinbei Village is full of Yuhi dots. There may be more than 1,000, but there are still the most orange dots, tens of thousands. Most of the orange dots are ordinary people, and some are ninjas, but they may be free ninjas, or they are ninjas from the ninja villages of other countries. They come to the country of water, either to spy on information or to go through errands. Anyway, they cannot be aimed at Konoha Anbu, so they are not enemies. Uchiha Gumu was probably among the thousands of Yuhi points, but Lu Han couldn't tell the difference. The main purpose of the insight map was to let the subversive know how many enemies were nearby, not to tell the subversive who these enemies were. Kurigakure Defense Force Squad Leader, Level 40 White Silver Boss, Ghost Tide River. Yuhi Point displayed on the map, the only existence that shows the details of Yuhi's name, the leader of Zenbei Village, the ninja. 10 o'clock in the morning. Zenbei Village's downtown streets. As a trading village, Zenbei Village mainly trades fish. Therefore, in the bustling market of Zenbei Village, fish hawkers can be seen everywhere. There are water stains everywhere on the ground. There are a lot of pedestrians coming and going, and there is a lot of hawking. Nito Kyo had received special training, and listening to the hawking sound was no different from the fisherman who had been fishing and selling fish all the year round, but his spirit was a little wrong, and he seemed to be a little too spirited, but Lu Han formed a very strong presence around him. Good cover, because fathers always appear more manly in front of their sons, intentionally or not. Lu Han's disguised little fisherman, like a shy boy, often squatted in front of the fishing net and didn't speak. He will open a small map every once in a while. The small map with the largest scope of insight is enough to cover the entire Zenbei village. He is watching the movement and changes of the Kurigakure ninjas here, in order to infer that those ninjas are patrolling, and those ninjas are in stay and standby, and those ninjas are free to move. This allows Lu Han to exclude a large number of ninjas, thereby narrowing the scope of finding Uchiha Gumu. 8 hours later. Dusk. After almost half of the day's observation, Lu Han has guessed the location of the Kurigakure ninjas in Zenbei village. They patrol, change the guard, and stand by. The regularity is very obvious. 5, as many as a dozen. 70% of the area of Zenbei village. It can be concluded that Uchiha Gumu will not haunt those places, and it is time to eat after the beginning of dusk. Lu Han can remove 20% of the area again, leaving 10%. Almost all of them are near the downtown area, because there are only good restaurants nearby. In fact, Lu Han's speculations were all based on assumptions. He couldn't even be sure whether Uchiha Gumu was really in Zenbei village, but since he wanted to find Uchiha Gumu quickly, he had to be bold. Assumptions. I can't find it today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. If I don't find it once, I can't find it forever, otherwise Lu Han will kill him. Nito Kyo continued to sell fish, while Lu Han went to dinner on the grounds that he was hungry. Of course, these are all performances for the people around them to see, and Nito Jing naturally knew that Lord Hengguang was doing an investigation. Lu Han, who looked like a small fisherman, looked at the street, like a country bumpkin who had never seen the market before. Everything was novel. He crossed the streets and alleys, and seemed to be lost, crisscrossing the downtown area. The size of the road back and forth in circles. Walking through another alley full of the smell of food, Lu Han was about to enter the street, but suddenly stopped. Opposite Lu Han, a middle-aged man who had just turned from the street stopped almost at the same time as Lu Han. Both looked stunned, not wanting to believe that they would meet each other. Opposite Lu Han, Uchiha Gumu. Found it. Chapter-168-Godlike Acting. Fire Country Missing Nin 30 Gold Boss Uchiha Gumu. NT seen him for 3 months, and Uchiha Gumu has lost weight. He didn't keep a low profile and hide here as Lu Han thought, but he was very public. Long boots, and several extremely expensive-looking gemstone rings on both hands, and even the neckline is inlaid with gold wire. Is this a ninja? If he hadn't still carried a weapon with him, it would have been really hard to see that he was a ninja, but instead looked like a vulgar rich businessman who would have changed the kiba in his mouth for gold. It's you. Uchiha Gumu looked at Lu Han in amazement and called out. Okay, what a coincidence. Lu Han seemed to be frightened, stammered when he spoke, and his face was pale. It's time to show off your acting skills. For Uchiha Gumu, Lu Han should be a genin. Lu Han knew this very well, and naturally made the most appropriate response. Little devil, you actually came to the land of water. Uchiha Go's mouth cracked open, revealing a grin, and he took a few steps forward abruptly. Lu Han stepped back in fright and turned around to run, but how could he be faster than Uchiha Gumu just by using genin? Uchiha Gomyu grabbed Lu Han's shoulder and threw Lu Han out with a flick of his hand. Bang! Lu Han slammed into the wall on the other side of the alley, and then bounced back and fell to the ground, but at the moment of landing, Lu Han completed the hand seal, reasonably, and disappeared in place. Chakra fluctuations appeared deep in the alley. I still want to run. Uchiha Gumu suddenly turned into a shadow, chasing after Lu Han without concealing his breath. Of course Lu Han didn't run away, he just wanted to lead Uchiha Gumu to a place where no one was there to kill him. In fact, just now Lu Han had the ability to kill Uchiha Gumu. Just when Uchiha Gumu grabbed Lu Han's shoulder, Lu Han only had to grab Uchiha Gumu's wrist. Uchiha Gumu had no chance of dodging, and would definitely die. Under Lu Han's Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, attack. But the problem is, Lu Han can't kill people on the street. This is the land of water. Although this village is not Kurigakure village, there are thousands of Kurigakure ninjas stationed there. Once Lu Han is exposed, it may not be difficult to escape from Zenbei village, but it is hard to say whether he can escape from the land of water or not. Lu Han didn't want to expose his strength to the world because of killing Gumu, which would disrupt his overall plan. Lu Han only used the basic telekinesis technique to continuously teleport. A street here is only more than 100 meters. Lu Han has to move at least one street in one instant. After only 3 or 4 times, Lu Han rushed into a relatively secluded street. Alley. Call, 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 call. 5 whirlwinds suddenly rolled up in front of Lu Han, and 5 Kurigakure Chunins appeared at the same time. The horizontal knife blocked Lu Han's way. Lu Han stopped suddenly, and his mind was weird. In fact, he could directly kill the 5 Chunins blocking the way, but this will let Uchiha Gumu know that Lu Han's strength is at least Jonin, and it will be difficult for Lu Han to kill Uchiha Gumu. Pause for a moment and see what happens. In fact, it doesn't matter whether Uchiha Gumu knows his true strength or not. This guy is missing Nin, and he can't inform Konoha. The key is that the Kurigakure ninja can't know Lu Han's true strength. Lu Han disguised as a small fisherman and entered Genbaiken, but showing his face, if the portrait is recorded at that time, it will be really troublesome. Wow! Uchiha Gumu, who was chasing after flying, suddenly stopped not far behind Lu Han. He could have rushed up to give Lu Han a knife, but he didn't do that, and he didn't know what he was thinking. Lu Han looked at the front and the back with a dark panicked look, his face became much paler. Lord Gumu, this guy is... He heard a Kurigakure Chunin ask. Lu Han's heart was suddenly startled, really startled. Lord Gomyu, the Kurigakure ninja is actually called Uchiha Gumu-sama. Being blocked by Kurigakure Chunin, Lu Han didn't think that they were with Gomyu before. The reason for blocking the road was very simple, because Lu Han was running. Just like a policeman catching a thief, you are not normal, and there are people chasing you behind you, so I will stop you and ask clearly. But now it seems, not so. Lu Han thought of a possibility. Could it be that Uchiha Gumu has taken refuge in Kurigakure village? This guy, it's Konoha's spy, he's here to do something wrong, you give him. Uchiha Gumu stopped suddenly, and Lu Han, who was ready to do something, also stopped. Uchiha Gumu didn't kill. As the words came out, he seemed to think of something more interesting. Humph. It's all you little bastard. It's what brought me to where I am today. Uchiha Gumu stared at Lu Han, bit Kiba and gnashed his teeth for a while, then squinted his eyes and shouted, "You guys catch this bastard for me. I have to live." Yes. Uchiha Gumu didn't do it himself, and he didn't know if it was because he saw the subordinates coming and he held his identity. Yes. The 5 Kurigakure Chunin agreed in unison, and were about to pounce on Lu Han. I surrender, don't hurt me. Lu Han raised his hand in a super spineless manner, his face full of traitorous expressions of, don't hurt me, I'll say more, his eyes were so scared and so scared. Godly acting. Since Lu Han used the camouflage scroll from killing Zhao Hai, his acting skills have been superb. Ha! Something without dignity. Uchiha Gumu laughed outright, looking at Lu Han with contempt. Tsunade is blind to accepting you as a disciple. Tsunade's disciple. 5 Kurigakure Chunin changed at the same time. They looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. They thought they were just ordinary Konoha spies, but they turned out to be Konoha Tsunade's disciples. Isn't that the disciple and grandson of the 3rd generation Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen? Then this kind of spies must not be killed at will. This is an important captive. It can be used as a bargaining chip to negotiate the existence of conditions. Call. A whirlwind suddenly rolled up behind Uchiha Gumu, and a Kurigakure Chunin appeared out of nowhere, knelt down on one knee and said, Master Gumu, Captain Chouhei wants to see you. Yeah, Uchiha Gumu replied with a nasal voice, stared at Lu Han and hesitated for a while. Take him and come with me. Maybe this guy can help our plan. Chapter-169 Captain Kurigakure Anbu. Before nightfall, somewhere in Zanbei village, there is a building complex guarded by a large number of Kurigakure ninjas. Decorating the luxurious lobby, a luxurious Uchiha Go would first enter the door, followed by Lu Han, who was ashen-faced, and behind him were the 2 Kurigakure Chunin who escorted Lu Han. The long tree in the lobby collapsed, and one person had been waiting for a long time, and the wooden collapsed table was filled with wine and vegetables. Seeing Uchiha Go come in, the man sitting on the wooden slump quickly got up and laughed. Ha ha, Go Musang, there is good news. This man was about 30 years old, younger than Uchiha Gumu. In Lu Han's eyes. Kurigakure Defense Force Squad Leader, Level 40 White Silver Boss, Ghost Tide River. It's him, the Supreme Commander of the Kurigakure ninjas stationed in Zanbei village. Lord Chouhei. Uchiha Gumu greeted Gaidong Chouhei with a smile. Listening to the 2 people's voices, it was definitely not the first day they met, they were very familiar. Uchiha Gumu has betrayed Konoha for 3 months, and he should have contacted Kurigakure long ago. This is. Gaidong Chouhei noticed Lu Han, who was a little fisherman behind him, and the heavy fishy smell made Gaidong Chouhei frown. It's the genin spy from the Fire Nation. Uchiha Gumu explained and glanced back at Lu Han. Genin spy. Gaidong Chouhei looked up and down at Lu Han at random, a kid who just graduated from Konoha Ninja School. What are you bringing here? Take it down. Slow, Lord Chouhei. Uchiha Gumu hurriedly stopped. What? Gaidong Chouhei glanced at Uchiha Gumu suspiciously. Lord Chouhei doesn't know something. Come on, I'll tell you slowly. Uchiha Gumu said with a smile. Ghost Lantern Chouhei hurriedly gestured for a request. The 2 stepped on the wood and sat opposite each other at the square table full of wine and vegetables. Uchiha Gumu began to tell about Lu Hengen's splendid deeds, which is nothing more than fighting with the Uchiha clan and trying to die again and again, but escaped strangely in the frame, and was accepted as a disciple by Tsunade. Konoha Tsunade's disciple. Hearing the last ghost lamp, Chouhei's face changed. Yeah, Uchiha Gumu nodded and looked at Lu Han. This kid is very strange. He was beaten to death by our young patriarch. Although he was treated by Tsunade, it was strange that he recovered the next day. People have assassinated him, but not only did they fail, but the people who assassinated him disappeared. You young patriarch. Gaidong Chouhei looked at Uchiha Gumu with a half-smile and asked. I'm used to it. Uchiha Gumu calmly said, although I have betrayed the clan, it is only because that old guy from Yokoyama is too cruel and tyrannical. Ha ha ha, I don't mean anything else. Come, let's drink. Gaidong Chouhei laughed, picked up the jug and poured wine for Uchiha Gumu, put down the jug and glanced at Lu Han. Since this kid is Tsunade disciple, it has some value. It's more than some value. Uchiha Gumu said, squinting at Lu Han. There is definitely something wrong with this kid. Maybe Sarutobi Hiruzen buried the pawn in Konoha to deal with the Uchiha clan. The ninja who assassinated him disappeared. I even suspected that there were ninjas protecting him secretly. Although it cannot be confirmed. It doesn't matter. From the fact that Tsunade can accept him as a disciple, it can be seen that he is very important. That's enough. Luhan has been standing in front of the tree collapse. He has been timid and fearful, until Uchiha Gumu said that someone was protecting him secretly. He suddenly shook his body, looked up at Uchiha Gumu subconsciously, and immediately lowered his head. A glint flashed in Uchiha Gumu's eyes. That's right. Ghost Deng Chaohei laughed again, and continued, haha, thanks to you, Go Musong. If it weren't for your information, our layout in the country of Vortex would not have been so smooth, although there were some accidents, but that was not the case. It's your responsibility, this time you sent us such an important prisoner, haha, I'll give you a toast. Gaidong Chaohei held up the wine glass, and Uchiha Gumu also held up the wine glass, and the two clinked glasses and drank together. By the way, Lord Chaohei just said there is good news. What good news? Uchiha Gumu put down the cup and wiped his mouth. That's right. Gaidong Chaohei lowered his voice, not trying to hide it from anyone, just subconsciously, and raised his hand to point upward. There is someone from above. Because the information you provided has played a big role, Mizukage-sama. I pay special attention to it. I have already sent my cronies here, and I will arrive today. It's really good news. Uchiha Gumu smiled slightly, but his heart was ecstatic. He's always wanted to get in touch with the top Kurigaker, and he's been working on it. He is Konoha missing Nin. This kind of identity is difficult to be trusted by the top management of Kurigaker. The traitor will be suspected wherever he goes, and he is afraid that he will betray again, unless he can show enough sincerity and enough information useful to Kurigaker. After months of unremitting efforts, Kurigaker verified the validity and importance of Uchiha Gumu's intelligence, and finally agreed to send high-level officials to contact him. Luhan was standing aside, being watched by the two Kurigaker Chunin. But Gaidong Chaohei just assumed that Luhan didn't exist, and Uchiha Gumu didn't shy away from it. Just kidding, a genin captive, afraid he'll hear something to report back. If Kurigaker can't even see a genin captive, just find a piece of tofu and kill him. Call. A whirlwind suddenly rolled up in the corner of the room, and a figure wearing a cloak and a mask appeared out of thin air. Come on, Ghost Deng Chaohei said in a low voice quickly, and quickly got up and gave a respectful salute to the masked figure. See Lord Bloodmist. Uchiha Gomu also got up quickly and called out respectfully, Lord. Hi Kurigaker, here we come. Luhan looked back carefully, his heart trembled. Captain Kurigaker Anbu, level 50 White Silver Boss, Tongshin Dafu. Blood Fog. Blood Mist is his code name in Kurigaker Anbu. Luhan's thoughts surged. Captain Kurigaker Anbu. White Silver Boss with a rating of 50. If you can kill him, what will fall? What kind of merit is in Konoha Anbu? Not without a chance. Jonin did Zhaohai deceive and kill. Luhan is stronger than Zhaohai. And he just happens to be a Konoha genin spy now, and no one on the scene knows his true strength. Chapter 0170-Missing Lord Cold Light. Downtown. Mito Kyo is still selling fish. Most of the several hundred caddies of fish have been sold, and the rest are not fresh enough, so they have already started to sell at a low price. From dusk to night, Mito Jing sold the last 10 kilograms of fish at the lowest price, then put away the fishnet and carried it on his shoulders, leaving the busy market with a smile on his face in exhaustion. It was already dark, and the bustling city of Zanbei village was still brightly lit. After Mito Jing walked into the darker alley, his face sank, and his heart was already extremely anxious. Lord Hengguang didn't come back. Mito Kyo was very worried. He knew that Lord Hengguang only had the strength of a special Jonin. This kind of strength is not weak among ninjas, but if it is on the enemy's territory, if a ninja with a special Jonin's strength is exposed, it is extremely dangerous. Although this is not the village of Kurigaker, there are not tens of thousands of hostile ninjas, but because it is not the village of Kurigaker, there is more strict monitoring here. Kurigaker ninjas all have tasks here, the ninjas in the task and the ninjas in life, two completely different states. Could it be discovered? Impossible. With the ability of Lord Hangwang, let's not say whether the flaw can be seen, even if it is really seen. With his strength, he should be able to make a move, he will not be so lucky. Not good, directly encountering a ninja who can subdue him instantly, it must be of my strength. Nito Jing's thoughts were up and down, and he walked faster and faster toward the depths of the alley. When he came to a tree with a crooked neck, there was no one around, and he suddenly disappeared in place. The next moment, Nito Jing appeared on the edge of the roof of a high-rise building on another street. His breath completely subsided, and his eyes glanced at the hot and bright downtown. No longer hide your strength. Lord Hangwang must be found. Even if this mission is exposed, Lord Hangwang cannot afford to lose it. Nito Kyo was deeply aware of Han's position in Anbu at this time. Within a few months of joining Anbu, he quickly became a team leader, a genius with scout ability, and a genius in the ninja way. A character that Hokage-sama takes very seriously. Compared to him, Uchiha Goki is nothing like a fart. Killing or not killing Uchiha Gumu, an S-rank missing nin, is incomparable with the safety of Lord Hangwang. The mission was not completed this time, and there is still a chance next time. People die, but they really die. In the luxuriously decorated lobby, it was already dark, and a ninja entered the door and lit the candlesticks in the lobby. The eyes of Blood Mist are very cold, with a turbid feeling, which must be the eyes of elderly people, but it is not absolute. In fact, he doesn't need a token to show his identity, and Gaidong Chaohei also knows him. Captain Kurigakure Anbu's mask is unique, and Gaidong Chaohei naturally knows him. Lord Bloodmist, this is Uchiha Gumu, our friend from Kurigakure village. Gaidong Chaohei and Uchiha Gumu have already faced the Blood Mist, and Gaidong Chaohei introduced Uchiha Gumu to the Blood Mist. Uchiha Gumu seemed extremely respectful, because he just saw the token displayed by the Blood Mist, which is not only the senior management of Kurigakure village, or the leader of Kurigakure Anbu, naturally crushed Uchiha Gumu in terms of status and strength. Okay, Uchiha Gumu greeted the Blood Fog's indifferent voice. Uchiha Goki didn't mind either. Sir, please. Gaidong Chaohei invited the Blood Mist to the wood, paused and then said, Sir came just in time, let's go together. This time he didn't laugh, but he was still respectful. Respectfully. The various delicious dishes on the table haven't even touched the chopsticks, and now is the time to finish the meal. Ninjas are also human beings. It's okay to have a full meal when they are out on a mission. It's not justified if they don't eat at home. The Blood Mist made a nasal sound. The three of them walked towards the wooden collapse, and the Blood Mist suddenly turned to look at Lu Han, the two Kurigakure Chunin who were still guarding Lu Han. My lord, this is Konoha's Genin scout. Take it down first, the Blood Mist ordered directly. Slow, Lord Blood Mist. Uchiha Gumu stopped him again. This time Uchiha Gumu didn't wait to be asked. Your Excellency doesn't know anything. This is Konoha Tsunade's direct disciple. His identity is extraordinary. We want to talk about it, and it is entirely possible to use him to achieve some goals. Oh, Shui Mist glanced at Uchiha Gumu, then glanced at Lu Han, and didn't say any more. Uchiha Gumu breathed a sigh of relief. He didn't let the Kurigakure ninja take Lu Han down, on the one hand because he could use Lu Han, on the other hand. Lu Han was already his bargaining chip. It was his bargaining chip with Kurigakure to negotiate conditions in exchange for benefits. He naturally didn't want Lu Han out of his sight until he had a good talk with Kurigakure. In the middle of Lu Han's arms. Lu Han didn't want to be taken down either. In that case, he had to kill Kurigakure Chunin, who was guarding him, and ran away. There was really no need to keep pretending, because generally speaking, after catching Genin spies, taking them to prison is the beginning of torture to extract confessions. The three sat around the table. The leader of Kurigakure Anbu, Blood Mist, was sitting in the middle, facing Lu Han who looked like a small fisherman before the wood collapsed. The leader of the Kurigakure guards, Gaidong Chaohei, was sitting on the right side, and the Konoha S-class missing nin was on the left side. Ghost Deng Chaohei poured a glass of wine for the blood mist first, and the three began to formally talk about things. What we were talking about was nothing more than a plan for the country of the vortex. But they hardly tell the details of the plan, because they are well aware of it. They only say how the plan is going and when it can move to the next stage. Lu Han was very helpless. He couldn't hear anything, and he couldn't take the initiative to ask. There is another good news. The blood mist added suddenly. It is likely to cause Konoha to break with the village of Uzushiogakure. Oh, Uchiha Gumu was taken aback. Lu Han was also shocked. Looked up at Lu Han subconsciously. As the captain of Kurigakure Anbu, he was always more careful. However, he only glanced at Lu Han. Naturally, he was not afraid of what Lu Han would hear, and what he was about to say. Things, and they are not afraid of being known by Konoha. It was Uzumaki who shocked the sea. Blood Mist paused and said, he betrayed Konoha Anbu's information to us. If Konoha knows about this, Hokage will be furious. What? This? Ghost Deng Chaohei and Uchiha Gumu all screamed out, couldn't believe it. Uzumaki was shocked by the sea. In Konoha Anbu, there is a powerful ninja codenamed Cold Light. But he heard the blood fog and said again. Chapter-161-180 Breath of Death. It is speculated that his strength should be at least in the elite Jonin, or even the kind of existence that is second only to Konoha Anbu Captain Hatake Tsukumo in Konoha Anbu. Blood Mist continued, the identity of Konoha Anbu Captain is no longer a secret, just like the true identity of Blood Mist. Konoha Anbu also knows the same. They are all captains, they are all early birds, and naturally they are more likely to reveal their identities. Actually it doesn't matter. No matter which ninja village, the Anbu captain can be the strong one. Ordinary Anbu members are afraid of being targeted and assassinated, but Anbu captain is not afraid, because they are strong enough. Hengguang. The strength is second only to Hatake Tsukumo. Hatake Tsukumo is the captain of Konoha Anbu. Uchiha Gumu was shocked again. He didn't know who the captain of Konoha's Anbu was before, and he didn't have such a high status. Yeah, the blood mist made a nasal sound and looked at Uchiha Gumu. Uchiha Goki blinked with wide eyes. He remembered Hatake Tsukumo. Hatake Tsukumo is the most talented ninja of the Hatake clan since the establishment of Konoha. He became famous in Konoha when he was young, but 6 years ago, he was seriously injured in a mission, blinded one eye, and his right foot was disabled for life. A generation of genius has fallen, and it caused a sensation in Konoha at the beginning, and they all feel sorry for him. Then, the deposed Hatake Tsukumo has been living in seclusion in the Hatake family settlement in Konoha village. Obviously, Hatake Tsukumo's blindness and disability are all fake. It was his preparation before entering Konoha Anbu. Everything was arranged by Hokage himself, and it was natural and seamless. Lord Bloodmist, this cold light. Gaidong Chaohei couldn't help but ask, what did he do? Or 27 days ago, the Blood Mist said accurately, in the western forest of the country of Vortex, 9 Phenos chased and killed the Konoha Anbu team he led. In order to cover his team members, he faced the Phenoha team alone, so that the Flying Ninja team was wiped out. Silence, the sudden silence of needles falling in the lobby can be heard. Kurigakure Chunin behind Lu Han, the ghost lamp Chaohei on both sides of the wooden collapsed table, and Uchiha Gumu were all stunned. A Kurigakure squad by yourself. Konoha Anbu Ninja Cold Light. It's okay to kill Fei Ren, but no one escapes from a small team. Horrible. Lu Han was also shocked. It turned out to be about himself. He was given such detailed information by Kurigakure Anbu Master. What did Uzumaki say in shock? Why did he do this? If Konoha finds out about this, Uzushiogakure will be finished. Not that Konoha will do to Uzushiogakure, but if Uzushiogakure breaks with Konoha, Kurigakure will kill Uzushiogakure. Without the protection of Konoha, Uzushiogakure village would not be the opponent of Kurigakure village at all, and the strength of the two sides would not be the same level at all. 9. Are all dead. Gaidong Chaohei couldn't help exclaiming. It's 10. The blood mist's tone was still so indifferent and did not fluctuate. Afterwards, there was another flying ninja who went to the battle area alone to check the situation, and was also killed by cold light. Silence again. No one was able to speak, because it was so weird that people couldn't understand it. Feinin can run even if he can't beat him, but he can't even run away. The above information was provided to us by Uzumaki Jinghai. Shui Mist said again, after the flying ninja team was killed, Master Mizukage was furious, and the 7 ninja swordsmen were ordered to take revenge. The incident happened in the country of Vortex, so the 7 ninja swordsmen took Uzumaki Jinghai's only son as a hostage, and asked Uzumaki Jinghai to hand over the murderer. Lu Han was stunned for a moment, and instantly relieved all the doubts about Uzumaki's shocking Uzumaki's shocking hostility and Uzumaki's shocking betrayal were all because his only son was arrested. It's not incomprehensible that a father would do such a thing for his son, and the population of the Uzumaki clan is getting smaller and smaller. It's true that one is dying. From the perspective of the Uzumaki clan, every clan is very important. Sir, now this, cold light. Gaidong Chaohei asked hurriedly, his eyes widened as if he didn't slow down. He has come to the land of water. The blood mist sounded heavy, and his fingers tapped on the table subconsciously. Uzumaki was shocked by the news. In the end, he only said that the cold light came to the land of water to perform a mission, but he did not know what the mission was. It was Konoha Anbu, a classified mission. Quote, at present, our Kurigakure Anbu has released a Super S-level mission. The whole country of water is searching for and killing Hangguang. The 7 ninja swordsmen have also returned to the country of water. They will be the main force to complete this Super S-level mission. Lu Han was stunned. Fuck. Uzumaki shocked the sea. Can't you fucking talk less? Originally, Lu Han had sympathized with Uzumaki Jinghai just now. For his own son, it was nothing to reveal the code name. Unexpectedly, Uzumaki Jinghai told Kurigakure everything he knew. Lu Han's sympathy for Uzumaki Jinghai dissipated instantly. The 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist have returned to the land of water. Come and kill Lu Han. Lu Han has already smelled the smell of death. The strength of those 7 guys is too strong. Hangguang. Uchiha Gumu muttered and glanced at Lu Han subconsciously. Cold light. 1 word away. But Uchiha Gumu did not doubt that Lu Han could kill the existence of the flying ninja team. How could it be Genin Han? Besides, Konoha Anbu has rules. The code name cannot have any relationship with the real name. If the code name is Hangguang, it is even less likely to be Han. Uchiha Gumu only thought that the 2 names were similar, so he looked at Lu Han subconsciously. This matter has nothing to do with you. The blood mist, who didn't know what to think, said again, looking at the ghost lamp Chaohei and Uchiha Gumu, Hangguang will definitely die in the land of water. Now let's talk about the vortex. The country's plan, Uzumaki Jinghai lost his mind for his son, can use this to make a fuss, just need a suitable opportunity to spread the news. I believe, Konoha Hokage will definitely no longer trust him, and may even break with him directly. For the next hour, the 3 of them drank and ate food while talking about their plans for Uzushiogakure village. Uchiha Gumu also mentioned using Lu Han as bait many times, but they were not approved by the blood mist. Time flies. Lu Han, who had heard too many things, turned paler and paler, his body began to tremble, and the tremors became more and more obvious. My lord, I have information. Don't kill me, Lu Han suddenly exclaimed excitedly. Time to get started. Chapter 0172_The Art of Tongue Scourge. Lu Han was very terrified. He seemed to be unable to stand still, his eyes were full of yuhi, and he was sweating like rain. Thanks to Zhaohai, it is precisely because he killed him to get the Book of Disguise that Lu Han's performance has been greatly improved. Before, even if he was hysterical, he couldn't make himself cry, but since he obtained 50% of Zhaohai's disguise ability, that's it. The 3 people who were talking stopped and turned to look at Lu Han at the same time. 2 Kurigakure Chunin behind Lu Han started at the same time, grabbed Lu Han's shoulder from behind, and scolded, "Be honest." Lu Han was subdued, hunched forward, and pulled his arms behind him. He tried his best to look up at Sanin, who was lying on the tree, and excitedly shouted, "I have information, don't kill me," and so on. The blood mist raised his hand to signal. Two Chunins immediately released Lu Han and took 2 steps back. "Little devil, don't play tricks." Uchiha Gumu shouted fiercely, and immediately looked at Shueimist and hurriedly explained, "Master Shueimist, don't believe this little devil's nonsense. This little devil is very cunning. He suddenly wants to telling information is likely to lie to you." After Uchiha Gumu finished speaking, he immediately looked at Lu Han again and glared fiercely. It was a threatening look. Lu Han suddenly understood. This Uchiha Gumu didn't suspect that Lu Han would talk nonsense at all, but did not want Lu Han to say that. At this time and place, if Lu Han said it, the information would be directly given to Kurigakure, and Uchiha Gumu didn't need to convey it. Uchiha Go is going to die. When he arrested Lu Han, he thought that he would force Lu Han to find out some Konoha insider information, and then use it as a bargaining chip to tell Kurigakure. Now Lu Han wants to say it directly, which makes Uchiha Gumu lose a chance to exchange benefits. Lu Han understood Uchiha Gumu's thoughts, and so did Captain Kurigakure Anbu's blood mist. Glancing at Uchiha Gumu, Captain Kurigakure Anbu flashed a cold light in his eyes, then looked at Lu Han and said, "Do you know that you are betraying Konoha?" "I don't want to die, I don't want to die, you just let me hear your conversation. You want to kill me, right?" "No, I can betray Konoha, I can. I say anything, you don't kill me." Lu Han became more and more the more agitated, the hysterical shouted and cried out. 12-year-old Genin, who has not had much experience in missions, has not experienced the test of blood and fire, and has no will to die. Lu Han's performance is incisive and vivid. Oscar owes Lu Han a little golden man. Lu Han's logic is flawless. In any ninja village, talking about important matters in front of the prisoner, then the prisoner who hears the conversation will die. Blood Mist and Ghost Deng Xiaohei looked at each other, then looked at Lu Han, and said indifferently, "Tell me, what information? If it's really important enough that Konoha can't forgive you, then I won't kill you. Otherwise." "Yes, it's very important information, very important." Lu Han nodded his head like garlic, speaking very fast, sniffing his nose and barely smiling at the blood mist. The laugh was uglier than crying, and then he paused and turned back a little. Glancing at it, he looked at the blood mist again, hesitating to say something. "You go down." Shueimist raised his hand and said directly, "It is impossible for lower-level ninjas to know some important information." "Yes, your lord." The 2 Kurigakure Chunin respectfully obeyed and left quickly. When the door was closed again, there were only 4 people left in the hall: Captain Kurigakure Anbu Blood Mist, Ghost Lamp Xiaohei, Uchiha Gomyu, and Lu Han. Blood Mist took another look at Uchiha Gumu, paused, and then looked at Lu Han. "Let Gomyu go out too. It's a bit unruly to do things like this. After all, the people were brought by Gomyu." "Tell me." Shueimist stared at Lu Han's eyes, as if to see through Lu Han. "If you dare to lie to me, I promise to let you understand what life is better than death. Tell me now." "Big Lord, actually, I can't." Lu Han pointed to his mouth. "If you say it, you will die, but I can write it." Konoha Anbu. The blood mist was suddenly startled, and he thought of a technique. The art of tongue scourge. A technique of Konoha Anbu. In fact, it is the root technique, only Danzo can use it. As long as the ninja who has performed this technique by Danzo cannot tell the secret about Danzo. The root is a part of Anbu, so from the point of view of the blood mist, it is Konoha Anbu's art. He didn't know the name of the art of eradicating the bane of tongues, but he only knew that this art really existed in Konoha Anbu. "Give him that pen and paper." Shuiwu immediately ordered. He had begun to trust Lu Han a little. Very simple logic. If Lu Han didn't know anything, he couldn't pretend that he couldn't tell the secret. The top secret technique of Konoha Anbu must be known by someone who has caught the Konoha Anbu ninja, or has been hit by the technique himself. Ghost Lamp Chowhei dodged to the cabinet in the corner of the lobby, took out a few pieces of paper and a pen, then dodged to Luhan and put things down, and finally returned to the table, turning to look at Luhan. Luhan immediately rubbed the dirty clothes on his clothes, back and forth, and the moment he turned his hand to his back, his hand disappeared and reappeared. In fact, he quickly reached into the space backpack. Took the same thing. Poison. Hide in the palm of your hand. Luhan was lying on the ground again, picked up the pen and quickly wrote on the paper, and his still dirty hands quickly touched the paper very dirty. My leader is Danzo-sama, and I am a ninja from the root of Anbu's training department. From the first day I entered Konoha, I was taken away by root for testing. They cultivated me and kept me pretending. My adoptive father Koji was silenced by root because he discovered my problem. I am a failure, which caused my cultivation talent to be abolished, but Lord Danzo thinks that I have a very good scout talent, so he did not give up on me, and has been sending people to protect me secretly, hoping that I can become Anbu Senior, Horn. The same existence as the sea. Do you know who Zhaohai is? Luhan deliberately wrote large words, and after writing a paragraph, he threw the piece of paper aside. After a while, the paper with the information written on it was thrown in a mess in front of him. Gui Deng Chowhei frowned, suddenly jumped from the wooden slump, quickly received the papers with the information written together, folded them into a stack, returned to the table, and handed them to Blood Mist. Chapter 0173 When the deception is in progress. A stack of papers with information written on them was handed over to Schwemist. Schwemist squinted his eyes. He didn't care that the papers were dirty and fishy. When he said a word, his pupils contracted violently. The blood fog knows the corner of the sea. More than 10 years ago, in the era when Konoha Anbu was called Anbu Myth, he killed too many people and obtained too much important information. At that time, the Blood Mist was not yet the captain of Kurigakure Anbu, but he had heard of a person like Yu Zhaohai, who was once known as the greatest scout, but he just didn't know what he looked like. When Zhaohai was reading the information, Luhan wrote a few more pieces of information. He wrote it very urgently, the words were twisted, and the big and small looked very ugly. He was still in that kind of nervous mood. His body was shaking, and every piece of paper was dirty by his touch. Ghost Deng Chowhei fell down again, went to Luhan to collect the pieces of paper, and returned to Schwemist. The Blood Mist looked quickly again. Sir Danzo hates the Uchiha clan very much, and has always hoped to get rid of Uchiha. He caused me to have a conflict with Uchiha Fugaku, so as to find an opportunity to get rid of the Uchiha clan, but he has always tried his best to protect me so that I will not be harmed by the Uchiha clan. Originally, Lord Danzo had already found out that Uchiha Gumu went out of the village to hunt me down, and sent someone to stop it. He wanted to make a fuss about it, but because Uchiha Gumu betrayed Konoha, he lost this opportunity again. Master Tsunade accepted me as a disciple, which is what Master Hokage meant, because Master Hokage didn't want Master Danzo to continue targeting the Uchiha clan. For stability, after Master Tsunade accepted me as a disciple, he kept trying to make me betray Master Danzo. Tsunade-sama is really beautiful. Don't kill me. I write this, Lord Danzo will kill me. He won't let me go. I tell you everything. Do not kill me. Do not kill me. Do not kill me. After reading this, Schwemist couldn't help looking up at Luhan, who was crawling on the ground. Luhan was still writing, this time only on a piece of paper. The writing was slow and the words were small. It should be what he said before. Important information. Look. The Blood Mist looked at Uchiha Gumu again, and handed Gumu the information about the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Gumu quickly flipped through the 2 pieces of paper. His face was solemn at first, and then he suddenly exclaimed, the ninja who assassinated me that day was the root. Assassination? Blood Mist asked back. Uchiha Go-Emu's hands trembled a little, holding the dirty paper and showing a miserable smile. he finally knows. No wonder, no wonder. I've never figured out why I was chasing and killing this brat, and it happened so coincidentally that the assassin could kill Chunin silently. Gomyu looked at the blood mist, his face turned bitter and said, "The Lord does not know, the reason why I betrayed the tribe and Konoha is because I failed to assassinate this kid. And the reason why I failed to assassinate him is because I was on an assassination mission. On the way, he was attacked. That ninja was extremely powerful, possessed a very clever assassination ability, and also mastered Kekkei Genkei Shikatsumiku, Dead Bone Pulse. It was no coincidence, it turned out to be the killer ninja of General. His master Shikatsumiku, Dead Bone Pulse." Blood Mist asked again. "Shikatsumiku, Dead Bone Pulse, Keigaya Clan Kekkei Genkei. The Keigaya clan is the ninja clan of the Land of Water." "Yes." Uchiha Goki nodded and continued, "I suspected it was the Keigaya clan at the time, but if it was an Anbu root ninja, it is likely to be a successful product of some kind of experiment, and obtained Shikatsumiku, Dead Bone Pulse, through transplantation." Quote. "He's a root ninja." Uchiha Gumu stared at Luhan again, biting Kiba a little bit. "Yes, he admitted it." Shueimist said directly, but did not show Gomyu the information that Luhan admitted that he was a ninja at the root. In fact, he showed Gomyu the information about Uchiha, and he just wanted Gomyu to prove that the information was true. There was no other meaning. Judging from Go-Emu's reaction, it was all true. Intelligence, provided by Luhan, is flawless. He also proved that he is a root ninja from various angles, otherwise it would be impossible to know so many things. What an unexpected joy. Gaidong Chaohei suddenly smiled and looked at Gomyu. "Gomusang is really the lucky star of our Kurigakure. Without you, we wouldn't be able to catch this Konoha Anbu kid." "Yeah, unexpected joy." Uchiha Gumu forced a smile. He already wanted to slap himself. Why bring him here? What a pig brain. Now the information provided by Luhan is directly to Kurigakure. Even if Uchiha Gumu has credit in it, it is not that big, and he can't negotiate with it. At this time, "Sir, they've written it." Luhan stood up with the paper full of words on it, looked at the blood mist in fear, and dawdled on the spot for a while, before he took a few steps forward and walked to the wooden collapse. Nearby, he reached out and handed the crumpled paper out. The blood fog detective took it. Luhan quickly put his hand away, as if the blood mist would eat him. Whoa, Pat! The table shook, and Luhan touched it, which caused some wine to spill from the wine glasses of the three people at the table. The wine jug was turned over, and some wine spilled out. Because Luhan was too hasty, his sleeves hung up. He hurriedly lifted the wine jug, because his hands were dirty, leaving dirty handprints on the wine jug. He immediately picked up the paper handkerchief placed at the corner of the table, looking like he was about to cry, quickly wiped the jug clean, and then took a few steps back in a row, almost not falling. Ghost Deng Chaohei smiled at Luhan's clown-like demeanor, and shook his head gently. So unbearable. Ghost Lantern Chaohei is in a great mood. Because of merit, he was the first to contact Uchiha Gumu, so for any information obtained today, Gumu has the credit, and so does he. Greater credit. After spilling some wine, Gaidong Chaohei glanced at it, reached out and picked up the wine jug, first poured the blood mist, then Gomyu, and finally himself. All three wine glasses were filled. Drink, drink, Luhan thought silently. Level 30 gold, level 40 white silver, level 50 white silver. Bosses that Luhan has never killed. If you can get one kill. All first kills. I don't know what kind of rewards I'll get. Chapter 0174 The wine is poisonous. Luhan was still shaking. Fear. No, not just fear, but excitement. What is the concept of the 3 kills at the same time? It is basically impossible to have the next chance. Because there are so many opportunities to kill each level of boss first, kill one less one, and then kill it is not the first kill. This probability is far lower than killing 9 level 25 diamond bosses at the same time, because there are still flying ninjas in Kurigakure village, at least there must be dozens of them, right? Level 30 Gold Boss Uchiha Go-Mu. Level 40 White Silver Boss Ghost Lantern Tide River. Level 50 White Silver Boss Tongshin Dafu. Kill all 3 of them. The reward is worth far more than killing Kurigakure. Even more than several times, that is the value. Not the quantity. How many types of A-rank ninjutsu will be obtained? Will you get dozens of ingots? Will there be special rewards? Special secret ninjutsu? And the Kekkei Genkei Sharingan scrolls. Will I get it if I kill Uchiha Go this time? Sharingan will improve to 3 Tomo if he gets it. The previous double Tomo Sharingan was really too little help to Luhan. Only by upgrading to 3 Tomo can Luhan be able to perform all kinds of incredible demonic illusions, which will greatly improve his strength. Since the last time he killed Fei Nin, Luhan had never entered the subversive space. He is accumulating ingots. According to the plan, he wants to save 100 ingots before entering the subversive space, in order to unlock more exchangeable items. Let's see how many ingots are needed for the S-rank ninjutsu scroll to exchange. He has to do this. If he doesn't do this, and uses it up every time he gets some yuanbao, then his yuanbao will never be more, and he will never be able to exchange it for something more advanced. Today, right now. As long as he completes this slaughter full of fraud, he will definitely get enough ingots. The strength has increased by leaps and bounds. When Luhan thinks of this, he can't control himself, because there are too many benefits. Strength is one aspect. It can also improve his status in Konoha and deceive Captain Kurigakure Anbu. This is an act that will inevitably lead to success in Konoha Anbu. Only with a high enough identity can you come into contact with those heaven-defying forbidden technique secrets in Konoha. Whether you are allowed to learn and whether you can learn it is naturally another matter. Get in touch first. In the original book, Orochimaru was not allowed to learn before he betrayed Konoha, but he was able to access it, so he stole it. It worked too. Standing a few steps away from the long wooden collapse, Luhan, who was shaking like a sieve of chaff and sweating like rain, would raise his head from time to observe the reactions of the 3 people at the table. He could do this because he was afraid of being killed. Anbu, whose real name is Tongshin Dafu, was watching the important information provided by Luhan. Really important. Because Luhan wrote, "Cold Light. I entered the land of water this time because I was under the order of Lord Danzo to assist in the investigation. Although my strength was low, Lord Danzo felt that I had talent in this area. He asked me to cooperate with the actions of Anbu directly under Hokage to find Uchiha Gumu." Trace, you just said that, Cold Light, came to the land of water. I don't know if Anbu really has a ninja code named Cold Light, because I am a subordinate of Lord Danzo, and I don't have contact with Anbu ninja directly under Hokage, but it can be speculated, Han Guang is probably here to hunt down Uchiha Gumu. I suggest you use Uchiha Gumu as bait, maybe you can find Han Guang. After Shui misread the information, there was a smile in his eyes, and he directly handed the paper with the information to Uchiha Gumu. Is this kid trying to trick Gumu? Very vengeful. Uchiha Gumu took a look, his face changed dramatically, and he stared at Luhan with rage. You damn brat. You actually. Uchiha Gumu roared and was about to get up, seeing that he was about to kill, but the blood mist suddenly held his shoulders. Lord Blood Mist. Uchiha Gumu said urgently to Blood Mist again. Don't worry. The Blood Mist interrupted Uchiha Gumu's words and said comfortably, we won't use you as bait. The 7 ninja swordsmen are already looking for them. They will definitely find them, and they will definitely kill them. We won't do it too much. Besides, you are more important to us than Cold Light. Go Musang, you are now our closest friend in Kurigakure village, we will never do this. Ghost Deng Chaohei also smiled to reassure him. This is part of Luhan's plan. It's not that they want to provoke anything, but according to the reaction of normal people, Gomyu will definitely be worried when he knows Luhan's proposal, and the Blood Mist and the Ghost Lamp Chaohei will surely appease them. No matter if they really want to use Gomyu as bait, they will definitely doing so, and after being appeased, they will. Come on, let's have a drink together. Gaidong Chaohei took the glass, Cheers to our friendship, happy cooperation. Jingo Musong, Shui Mist also said with a glass of wine. Lu Han's palms were sweating, at the most critical time. Uchiha Gumu's face was as black as charcoal. He really wanted to escape from here, to escape from the land of water. He never imagined that this little devil would bring him such a crisis. It seems that this is not the first time. Gomyu gave Lu Han a few vicious glances again, and then he picked up the wine glass and smiled reluctantly at the blood mist and the ghost lamp Chowhei. The three of them clinked glasses and all drank the wine in one go. Today is really a good day. Gaidong Chowhei put down his glass and smiled again. I didn't expect this Konoha genin brought by Go Musong to have such an identity and provide such important information. He must know more insider knowledge of Konoha. That's right. Uchiha Gumu bit Kiba again and looked at Lu Han. Danzo is the assistant of Konoha Hokage, and he masters the most mysterious root of Konoha. This kid must know something. He will take him down later. He must be tortured severely. Haha, then leave it to Go Musong. I can handle your mood. Gaidong Chowhei spoke again. The wine is poisonous. A sudden roar came from the blood mist. He found it. This also proves that the poison works. Give me death. Almost at the moment when the roar of the blood mist just appeared, Lu Han's aura became extremely sharp. Li Li took out Kuwu from the zoomy space in an instant, and swung his arms round and threw more than 30 black lights forward. The crisis of death instantly enveloped the three of them at the table. Chapter 0175_First Kill. First Kill. First Kill. Kai, 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 Kai. More than 30 kunai are about to tear time and space apart. The high-pitched air-breaking sound drowned out some of the other sounds. The eardrums of people who were shaken will burst. This shot. Lu Han directly used 80% of his chakra to activate the magic power of taijutsu. He had never used taiju magic like this before. This is the power that can knock out B-level defensive ninjutsu with one punch. Lu Han used it to launch kunai. Time seems to slow down. Space, time, things in motion, all slow down. Everyone's demeanor was different. Lu Han threw out his arms vigorously. His face was a little grim. His eyes were as sharp as an eagle, and he no longer had the appearance of fear and trembling before. The blood mist found that the wine was poisonous. It was not that he tasted the taste problem, but that he felt a sense of stagnation in the operation of his chakra. Not many ninjas would convert chakras when they were eating, because chakras were transformed. It must be used, otherwise it will be wasted and lose physical energy. But blood mist will, because they are Captain Kurigakure Anbu. He is different from normal ninja and more vigilant. Kunai flew towards the blood mist, and the blood mist filled with rage in his eyes slapped the table and wanted to jump up to dodge, but when he exerted his strength, his expression changed drastically, and the flow of chakra slowed down, making them unable to use the chakra. Carrot's strength to complete the dodge, and his physical strength is not enough. Because Lu Han had two poisons. The former one was smeared on the paper with information, and it was a colorless and highly poisonous. Human skin will be poisoned when it comes into contact with the skin. The initial effect is to make the muscles unable to exert force suddenly, and the later stage is most used to cause muscle spasm. If the toxin is not detoxified in time, the person will enter a state of shock and suffocation after the whole body spasm, which will lead to death. This kind of poison is very strong. Lu Han prepared a large amount of poison during the 2 months he was stationed in Anbu, all of which were stored in the space backpack. Book of Poisons, deprived from Zhaohai that gave Lu Han this ability. Zhaohai is a master of making and detoxifying poison. Even with only 50% of his poison ability, he can concoct poison with terrifying effects. In fact, if it were Zhaohai, he would not use such a strong poison, because it has a smell. Although it is very light, it does have a taste. Lu Han was desperate. He had a strong fishy smell on his body, on his hands, and on paper, which would cover up the smell of the poison. It can only be said that there is a probability, a very low probability, that it is found that the paper is poisonous. For example, the blood mist itself is a poison master, and he knows the taste of various poisons. The second type of poison, Luhan spilled the wine from the 3 glasses when he touched the table, overturned the wine jug and wiped it up, all of which were intentional. He poisoned it at that time and slowed down the flow of chakra. Colorless and odorless. Medium effect. Although only a medium effect. But this poison is what matters. Only by limiting the chakra flow rate of the 3 people can they be unable to quickly invoke chakra, instant ninjutsu, and use chakra to make the body exert force. It's just slowing down, not completely unusable, just slow. But that's enough. Luhan only needs a momentary chance. A chance that an enemy can't defend against dodging and he can attack. The blood mist with a drastic change in his expression immediately sat back to his original position, as did the ghost lamp Chauhei, and the weakest of the 3, Uchiha Gumu, was extremely unbearable. Towards the table, it was like a person without strength suddenly walking down the ground and unable to support his body. Howling like thunder. Poochie, 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 poochie. The flowers are blooming, like the blooming blood-colored lilies, blooming on the blood mist, the ghost lamp-tide river, and the Uchiha Go wood, who not only pierced their torso, legs, arms, but also tore their meridians. The power of secret technique, shadow flash technique. Luhan actually used the shadow flash technique to move forward, only a distance of 2 or 3 meters. He could jump completely, but they used the shadow flash technique. Just be fast. Soon. Knife light up. Brush. The half-moon-shaped knife light flashed over the square table, and the 3 people who were poisoned by Kuu had no chance to escape. The 3 heads flew up at the same time. In space backpack. Ding! Congratulations to the subversive for killing the first level 30 gold boss. Ding! Congrats to the subversive for his first kill of a level 40 white silver boss. Ding! Congratulations to subversive for his first kill of a level 50 white silver boss. With the sound of the elf, the dazzling golden light like a fireworks burst almost blinded Luhan's eyes. The 3 of them exploded more than 100 falling objects at the same time. Luhan waved again. When, put all of it in the space backpack, then swipe down the table with your hand, and put all the papers with information in the space backpack. Everything is complicated, but it actually happened in a very short period of time. Sir, what's wrong? Kurigakure Chunin, who had been outside the door, heard the movement and pushed the door in while asking questions, then they were completely stunned. The 3 headless corpses were still spewing blood. The wood collapsed on the innermost wall, the window on the wall had been opened, and the figure of the little fisherman, flashed by the window, just turned out. Come on! A Kurigakure Chunin exclaimed piercingly. In Zenbei village under the night, Mito Jing has been searching for Lord Hengguang for 2 or 3 hours, but he has found nothing. He gave up, not really giving up, but he understands that it is impossible to find him alone. The shadow moved rapidly in the remote and dim alley, getting closer and closer to the edge of Zenbei village. Outside Zenbei village, 20 miles to the south, is a dense forest. In the dark forest, a hollow. Come out! Mito Jing, who rushed back quickly, suddenly appeared and shouted. Call, call, call. More than 20 figures appeared around one after another, and it was the Konoha Anbu ninja who entered the country of water. Lord Hengguang is missing, Mito Jing said directly. What? Lord Hengguang, he. An exclamation. Chapter 0176_discuss countermeasures. How did Lord Hengguang disappear? When? But he saw a ninja step forward and ask. His tone was very urgent. The 26 ninjas present, except for Mito Jing who was dressed as a fisherman, all wore black robes and masks, making it impossible to tell who they were at once. In fact, Anbu ninjas have special identification skills among each other. In addition to the height, shape, and voice, the masks they wear are all different. They are all animal masks, but they are not the same. Some are animals of different species, and some are of the same species, but there are subtle differences. So Anbu Ninja can easily tell who is who. The one who asked eagerly was Kato Kai. He was the first to follow Lu Han on the mission. Because of Lu Han, he escaped the two life and death crises of being surrounded by ghost troops and being chased by Finitsu. He, his younger brother Kato Feng, and the other three were the first to follow Lu Han. Cold ninjas all have special feelings for Lord Hengwang. It's faster than anyone else. Looking at Mito Kyo with a pair of eyes, the other ninjas don't have that kind of affection for Lord Hengwang, but they understand its importance. Konoha's teenage genius, the team leader who quickly ascended after entering Anbu. If he died in the land of water, these 24 Anbu ninjas would all be responsible for their poor protection. We entered Zenbei village this morning and started. Until dusk, Master Hengwang pretended to go to dinner and investigated alone. Mito Jing quickly explained the situation and finally said, "After nightfall, I have been looking for Lord Hengwang. Lord Hengwang will definitely not go to remote places, but I have searched all the relatively lively areas, and even ventured into the security department of Zenbei village. There is none. Lord Hengwang disappeared without any signs or traces. It stands to reason that with his strength, even if he encounters danger, he can make some noise. The general patrol ninjas in Zenbei village are Genin and Chunin. If Lord Hengwang encounters them, it's easy to get out, at least you have to meet Jonin or something stronger." There was silence. The situation was terrible. Obviously, this is not Mito Jing's responsibility. It is normal to investigate alone, and Mito Jing cannot follow it all the time. According to Mito Kyo's meaning, Lord Hengwang was probably captured by Jonin of Zenbei village, and even he may have died. If exposed. How can you get caught if you don't reveal it? This is the country of water, not the country of rain. Although the village of Kurigakure is opposed to Konoha, the two sides are enemies, but their positions are different. It does not mean that the ninjas of Kurigakure are tyrannical. They will not hurt a little fisherman for no reason. Could it be? Kato Kai suddenly said, his voice a little dry, "Meet Uchiha Gumu." Found it. Happened to meet. Even if you meet Uchiha Gumu, Gumu knows Lord Hengwang, and Lord Hengwang also knows him. It is impossible to be unprepared. Although he did not bring a weapon, he should have the opportunity to perform ninjutsu. Killed. Besides, Uchiha Goki didn't dare to do anything in Zenbei village. Whoever he kills there, the Kurigakure ninja will catch him," said the tall ninja standing in front of Kato Kyo on the right. Anbu, codenamed Fire Rock, is the temporary scout leader of one of the 5 Anbu temporary squads. His squad was the same squad that was looking for Uchiha Gumu in the land of water before, and it was he who discovered the trace of Uchiha Gumu. Sent someone to pass the information back to Konoha, and Konoha then sent several temporary teams to hunt down Uchiha Gumu. Shouldn't. Kato cracked and shook his head again. With the ability of Lord Hengwang, the identity should not be discovered. Master Hengwang couldn't have left Zenbei village directly. He didn't go back to find me before dark, and he must still be in Zenbei village. Mito Jing said. "Let's go find it. While it's dark, maybe we can," said Anbu's ninja codenamed Black Tail, who is also a temporary squad leader. "No way." Anbu's ninja codenamed Mickey objected, and he was also a temporary team leader. It's even harder to find it when it's dark. If Lord Hengwang is really caught and is really alive, he must have been locked up. Maybe they have already set up an ambush and wait for us to find someone. What if we don't look for it? How can we explain it to Lord Hokage when we go back? Kato Kaima said, a little excited. Tomorrow, Mickey continued, tomorrow morning, some of us will sneak into Zenbei village, and the other will be guarding the main road from Zenbei village to Kurigakure village. I think with the wisdom of Lord Hengwang, even if we are caught, we will definitely not if he is killed. He only needs to reveal his identity or provide some information, and he will be taken seriously, and he will definitely be taken to Kurigakure village. I can think of this, and Lord Hengwang can definitely think that he will create a rescue opportunity for us. That's right. Mito Jing nodded. In case. If Lord Hangguang is not caught at this moment, he is just hiding, then we. Heiwei said again. Of the 26 ninjas, only 5 are discussing, because they are all temporary scout team leaders. Although their strengths are different, their rights in this mission are the same. It was the 5 of them who negotiated, and if there were irreconcilable differences, the most powerful Mido-jing would make the decision. At the same time, in Zinbei village. It's been a mess. Even ordinary people living in Zinbei village knew that something great had happened, because all the Kurigakure ninjas in Zinbei village moved. They completely sealed off the village and started a large-scale search. The captain of the guards, Ghost Lantern Chowhei, was killed. Captain Anbu Blood Mist was killed. Konoha missing nin Uchiha Go Mu who came to take refuge was killed. The 3 were killed at the same time, and they all turned into headless corpses, and even their heads were not found. This matter, at this moment, every Kurigakure ninja in Zinbei village is no longer terrifying, and can no longer describe what it feels like in words. Incredible. Shudder. Horror. All. Somewhere in Zinbei village, in a dim alley, Lu Han, who remained silent, stood in the darkest corner. Several Kurigakure Jonin passed by here. Lu Han watched them go away, opened the small map, glanced at it, and started to move again. Chapter 0177-3 Achievements. It's not easy for Lu Han to escape from Zinbei village, because his features are too obvious. Everyone knows his height, everyone knows what he looks like, and everyone knows that he is a boy of 12 or 13 years old. Lu Han's information had already been completely spread among the Kurigakure ninjas in Zinbei village. The ninja's search ability is terrifying, especially when it is targeted, but one thing is good, that is, Master Lu Han's coupling technique, which can quickly change his clothes, and the fishy smell on his body is changing clothes. After that, it faded a lot, and after running for a while, it completely dissipated with the wind. Because of this, Kurigakure's ninja dogs didn't track him down easily. Run away. Zinbei village, as the largest trading village in the north of the Land of Water, has a large area. Lu Han did not escape immediately. At this time, thousands of Kurigakure ninjas had already deployed their defenses. Lu Han could only keep moving in the form of kabuto circles. Find the way out. This is extremely difficult. Even if the original Hitaki Sakumo was discovered in the intelligence mission that won the Anbu merit, he didn't escape, he killed him. For this reason, he also killed the enemy's elite Jonin in the chaos. As powerful as Hitaki Sakumo is, if you are found, you can only kill it. Even if Lu Han showed all his strength, he was not as strong as Hitaki Sakumo at that time. However, Lu Han has the incomparable advantage of Hitaki Sakumo, that is, the insight map. Simply so useful. With a casual glance, you can see the situation of all the hostile ninjas in the entire Zinbei village. Lu Han knows where the ninjas have been ambushed, and also knows where there is a possibility of being discovered, so he can avoid them. If you really can't avoid it, just stop and hide for a while. As long as you wait for a while, the spread of Kurigakure ninjas in the entire Zinbei village will change, and the road for Lu Han to go out will appear again. 10 minutes later, in the central and southern district of Zinbei village, 2 Kurigakure genins were running in the alley. Kai. 2 kunai shot, 2 heads exploded directly, and 2 Kurigakure genin rated 10 gold bosses died while running and fell over. The black shadow swept past, taking away the fallen objects scattered on the ground. 5 minutes later, on a back street, a Kurigakure chunin squatted in the darkness at the corner of the street, scanning the dimly lit street. Whistle. Above, a black shadow fell silently, and the shocking light of the knife brought a smear of blood. Lu Han is trying to escape from Zinbei village, and he is also killing people. Kill it. All the kills are genin chunin with the rating title of gold, because only gold bosses can drop gold potions, 100% drops, one at a time. Lu Han is just for the golden potion, the ingots cannot be counted on, and the probability of dropping them is too low. According to the rules, the stronger Lu Han's strength is, the lower the explosion rate of items that he kills low-level ninjas will be. After a full 4 hours, it was approaching the early morning. Outside Zenbei village, in the grove in the southeast. Call. The whirlwind rolled up, and Lu Han dressed in a black robe mask appeared out of thin air. It's finally out. The quality of Kurigakure ninjas is really high. It's worthy of being one of the 5 major ninja villages. It's not easy for me to use a small map. Lu Han looked back at Zenbei village. He didn't know if he would come here in the future. Maybe not, but it's definitely a place to remember because he killed Captain Kurigakure Anbu here. What he did in Zenbei village today may be the beginning of Lu Han's fame in the entire ninja world. I don't know when the news of Captain Kurigakure Anbu's assassination will spread, maybe soon, or it won't be known to the outside world at all. Looking at Zenbei village for the last time, Lu Han opened the small map and glanced at it, and then disappeared in place, a glimpse of which was getting farther and farther from Zenbei village. In the second half of the night, 30 miles southeast of Zenbei village, there was a mountain forest. The land of water has a unique terrain with many mountains and waters. It is an archipelago country, and the essence of an island is a mountain in the ocean. The upper end of the mountain is higher than the sea level, so it is called an island. High mountains and dense forests. After Lu Han entered the forest, he was still moving at a high speed. He didn't stop until deep in the forest, under an ancient tree with a height of 100 meters. Lu Han took a breath and opened the small map to adjust the insight range to 1 kilometer. Then sat down cross-legged. S-rank ninjutsu. S-rank ninjutsu. Lu Han was a little excited, considering that among the 3 previously killed, the Blood Mist's rating had reached the 50-level white-silver boss, and the strength of this rating was already comparable to Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru. At 1 level, it must be a master who has mastered S-level ninjutsu, but it is not sure whether it can be dropped. Even if it is the first kill, there are too many uncertainties. Rubbing his hands together, Lu Han, who was full of anticipation, waved his arms. Wow! More than 100 falling objects covered the grass around Lu Han, and many of the falling objects glowed with special light, but Lu Han's eyes were immediately attracted by 2 very ordinary-looking little things. He had obtained these 2 little things before, and they were extremely precious and rare. The 2 things are exactly the same, both are palm-sized purple tokens with cracks on them. Rare tactical blade fragment. These 2. Lu Han immediately picked up the 2 purple tokens, looked at them, and asked in a daze, "Elf, what have I accomplished this time?" Achieve special rewards. The last time I got the rare tactical blade fragment was when Lu Han and a Megakure 44 ninja fought and counted the dropped items. The elf said at that time that Lu Han completed the achievements of killing 15 people and killing 30 people. Only to obtain 2 rare tactical blade fragments. Got 2 more this time, and completed 2 achievements at the same time. Subversive 3665, you have completed 3 achievements this time. The elf's answer surprised Lu Han even more, respectively, the achievement of 3 simultaneous kills, the first leapfrog kill achievement, and the first skill. Leapfrog assassination achievement. Ding! Remind Subversive 3665 that you have collected 4 rare tactical blade fragments. You can go to Subversive Space to exchange for a rare tactical blade. 3 kinds. Lu Han blinked, then looked down again, and asked at the same time, what is the special reward for the remaining achievement? Chapter-178-3 Tomo Sharingan. There were more than 100 items on the grass in front of Lu Han. Except for ingots, potions, and other items, it was difficult for Lu Han to tell which one was the achievement reward. It's a reward for increasing the explosion rate. He heard the elf say, it's not a special item drop, but an important drop that a subversive needs to increase the explosion rate. This drop has been successfully released. Lu Han was stunned for a moment, blinked and thought for a moment. He instantly thought of the falling object he wanted most, lowered his head and glanced again, and then froze. Lu Han saw the drop he wanted. A dark Yuhi-colored scroll. Lu Han picked it up. Sharingan Kekkei Genkei Scroll. According to the rules, the more you get the same type of scroll, the lower the explosion rate, and the Sharingan Kekkei Genkei scroll has a low explosion rate. Even if it is the first one, it is impossible to kill it without the first kill. Luhan has already used Sharingan Kekkei twice. Genkei scrolls. The first is to get the first kill with a high explosion rate, and the second is to get the achievement to increase the explosion rate. It was that time when he used the knight to assassinate the team led by Uchiha Gumu. Although Uchiha Gumu finally ran away, he skillfully assassinated Uchiha Sakata and completed the first skillful assassination achievement, which made the Sharingan Kekkei Genkei scroll burst out. And this time, he killed the first level 30 gold boss, and with the achievement to increase the explosion rate, the third Kekkei Genkei Sharingan scroll also exploded. So far, Luhan has only killed 7 Uchiha ninjas, but took all 3 Sharingan Kekkei Genkei reels. 3 Tomo, Luhan muttered, and suddenly opened the scroll. A slightly tingling soreness appeared in Luhan's eyes. Luhan had to close his eyes, and after a while, those tingling sensations disappeared. When Luhan opened his eyes again, his pupils had become bloody yuhi color. Around the pupil, there are 3 Tomo appearing. His eyes are full of bewitching feeling. This is the feeling he didn't have when he only had 2 Tomo Sharingan before. 3 Tomo Sharingan. The limit of the first stage of Sharingan. Further promotion is to evolve into Mangekyo Sharingan, which is essentially different from the 3 Tomo Sharingan. Master 3 Tomo Sharingan, you can learn to perform various pupil techniques. Sharingan is different from Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, although both are Kekkei Genkei, but Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse's ability is relatively simple to display. Both are based on bone hyperplasia. Plus some skills that are not difficult to learn. Different growth patterns are paired with different skills, resulting in various Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse abilities. Besides Sharingan, the basic abilities are copying, insight, and hypnosis. The more Tomo, the stronger the effect, and its demonic illusion ability is actually Hypnotic Eye. Small demonic illusion is easy to master, and you don't even need to learn, you can use Sharingan. And some brilliant demonic illusions, even if they have Sharingan, they have to learn to become masters, and they can't learn without talent. In the Uchiha tribe, almost as long as an adult Jonin, they basically opened Sharingan to 3 Tomo, but having 3 Tomo Sharingan and a powerful master demonic illusion are 2 different things. In the original work, there are many powerful demonic illusions that 3 Tomo Sharingan can display, and even the powerful ones can be said to defy the sky, but as far as today's Uchiha ninjas are concerned, there are very few Master's powerful demonic illusion Uchiha ninjas. Sharingan talent and demonic illusion talent are 2 kinds of talent. Able to drive Sharingan to 3 Tomo does not mean that you will definitely have the extremely powerful demonic illusion of Master. Example, Uchiha Gomu. His Sharingan is Santomo, but he is definitely not a demonic illusion genius, otherwise he can launch Izanagi to reverse his own death. Ultimate demonic illusion, Izanagi, can be activated as long as the pupil strength is enough to 3 Tomo Sharingan. This technique can transform all unfavorable factors, including injury and death of the caster into a dream, and can also turn the caster's attack, etc. The favorable factors are transformed into reality, and the boundary between fantasy and reality can be freely controlled, and the effect can be called horror. Luhan closed his eyes again. He is feeling that he has Master's demonic illusion. He is different from the Uchiha ninja. His 3 Tomo writing wheels come from the rewards of the rules. Therefore, when his Sharingan is promoted to 3 Tomo, he has already obtained extremely high pupil power, and he has also mastered dozens of demonic illusions. The ability, although not the demonic illusion with the anti-sky effect, is also extremely powerful. Sharingan, I can finally use it to exert my powerful strength. Although I can't copy the forbidden technique, I should be able to copy the non-forbidden technique S-level ninjutsu. Luhan knows that his pupil power is much higher than the same open 3 Tomo. Uchiha ninja Jonin must at least be compared with the elite Jonin of the Uchiha clan. Except for a few geniuses, most Uchiha ninjas follow the rule that the stronger the Sharingan, the stronger the pupil power. It's not the A-level technique of forbidden technique, it should be able to be copied, right? Lu Han thought and opened his eyes again. Sharingan can copy jutsu, not only ninjutsu, but also taijutsu, demonic illusion. But it is difficult to copy forbidden technique, because S-level techniques are basically listed as forbidden techniques, so Sharingan can also copy A-level techniques at the highest level. Although nothing is absolute, nothing is impossible, but Lu Han did not expect to be able to Sharingan. S pupil strength is increased to the strength that can replicate the forbidden technique. After all, the replication technique is not the right way. With those time and energy, it is the kingly way to improve yourself. Packing up his mood, Lu Han once again looked down at the grass in front of him and began to count. 6 fine weapons, 8 penultimate weapons. Are 11 small blue bottles and small yuhi bottles in total. There are 16 big blue bottles and big yuhi bottles in total. 8 C-rank ninjutsu scrolls. 17 B-grade ninjutsu scrolls. 6 secret techniques. A golden potion. 57 ingots. A total of 130 pieces. The reason why there is still a small amount of potion drops is because the killed Uchiha Gumu is a level 30 gold boss, and a level 30 level boss will still drop some very low level things, only when it reaches level 40. There are still 5 drops left to be counted, 4 of which are scrolls, and 1 is a weapon. Sweetened water style, great waterfall technique. Sweetened water style, rain shower. Sweetened water style, water armor formation. 3 of the 4 scrolls had names in Lu Han's eyes, all of them were A-level ninjutsu. Chapter-161-180 Kurigakur blade. 3 A-level ninjutsu, all are A-level sweetened water style. Lu Han was a little disappointed. There were no S grades, and there were only 3 types of A grades. The 4th scroll, the last scroll that has not been checked, Lu Han could not see the name. First put the 3 A-level ninjutsu scrolls aside. Lu Han picked up the 4th one, frowned. Lu Han asked in his heart, "Elf, why can't you even see the name?" Lu Han didn't know what the scroll represented. Naturally, I dare not use it indiscriminately. Maybe it is not a scroll of magic. It's an A-level random scroll. The elf replied immediately. Subversive 3665 can be used directly, and after using it, you will get a random A-level technique. This way, Lu Han was a little disappointed again. He was A rank again. He killed a 50-level white-silver boss, but he didn't lose his S-rank skill. It can only be said that it is bad luck, because the drop follows the principle of probability. Even if Lu Han kills the blood fog with a 90% chance of dropping an S-level spell, there is still a 10% chance of not dropping it. A-level technique. Lu Han muttered and opened the scroll directly, and then his face became happy. Raiden Thunder Style, Shadow Clone Technique. Shadow Clone is originally AB level ninjutsu, and Konoha Jonin can learn the Master S art, and the Raiden Thunder Style Shadow Clone art is to add Raiden Thunder Style chakra to the clone, with nature transformation, so it is A level. The clone is not an illusion, but an entity, but it has no strength, but when the thunder clone is broken, it will explode into thunder and lightning to attack the enemy. The reason why Lu Han is happy is not only because of the practicality of this auxiliary technique, but also because it is very expensive. Same A-level multiple shadow clone technique requires 60 ingots to exchange in the subversive space, while the Raiden Thunder Style Shadow Clone technique requires 50 ingots. Auxiliary techniques are expensive. All reels are finished. There was still one drop that Lu Han had not touched, a knife-like ninja tool. It's a sickle. The handle is 1.5 meters long, which is not too long. The blade that extends horizontally at a 90-degree angle to the handle is nearly 1 meter long. The shape is somewhat similar to Hidan's weapon in the original book. The difference is that Hidan's sickle is 3 blades, and this one has only 1 blade, and Hidan's scythe has a rope at the end of the handle. This scythe doesn't have one either. This is a rare weapon. Lu Han didn't need to look at the name to know, because the sickle was glowing with a cold blue light. Lu Han finally picked up the knife, and the name of the sickle appeared in front of Lu Han's eyes. Rare Kurigakure Blade. Kurigakure. Kurigakure came out of the ninja, so it's called Kurigakure. Luhan looked strange. Tongshin Dafu fell. The elf replied, he misunderstood what Luhan meant. Of course Luhan knew that it was dropped by Tongshin Dafu, that is, Captain Kurigakure Anbu codenamed Blood Mist. Except for him, it is impossible for the level 40 white silver boss Ghost Lantern Chouhei to explode rare weapons, and the level 30 gold boss Uchiha Gumu less likely. Luhan raised his sickle and looked up. After the knife fell into his hands, the blue light disappeared. Just by observing with his eyes, Luhan could not see any special effects of this rare blade. Elf, what's so special about this knife? Luhan asked in his heart. Infused with water attribute chakra, the user can control the rare Kurigakure blade to emit thick fog, and can also absorb the thick fog. The elf replied. Luhan immediately injected water attribute chakra into the sickle. Call. The dense fog spreads from the blade of the sickle, covering Luhan within 10 meters in one breath. After 3 breaths, it covers a radius of 100 meters. After 10 breaths, a radius of 300 meters is covered by dense fog. It's already the limit. This effect. Luhan was shocked. It's not a matter of knowing how much fog it is, it's about chakra consumption. Only a very small amount of chakra can be used to create dense fog in a wide range, and it can continue to output to maintain the existence of dense fog. If it is in a water environment, because of heavy humidity, even if the production of dense fog is stopped, the dense fog that has already appeared. Fog can also persist for a long time in a water environment before dissipating. Although creating the dense fog will not cause any direct damage to the enemy, it can make it easier for Luhan, the creator of the dense fog, to kill the enemy. The dense fog is created by him, his chakra, and will not block his sight, will only block the enemy. Under such conditions, Luhan will gain a great advantage. Okay, good knife. Ha! Luhan couldn't help laughing. He finally understood that the reason why it was called the Kurigakure blade was not because it was dropped by the Kurigakure ninja, but because it really had the Kurigakure effect. In nature, it was exactly the same as the Kurigakure technique, but the effect was more than 10 times higher. The larger the coverage area, the thicker the fog. If there is no pupil art or similar art that can see through the cover, it is impossible to see through the thick fog created by the blade of Kurigakure. All cleared. New day, early morning. 20 miles to the south of Zanbei village, in the dense mountain forest with rich vegetation, the rising sun shines through the branches and leaves of the tree canopy, leaving Madara's light and shadow on the grass. 26 Konoha Anbu ninjas gather in front of the big tree, doing final preparations before this action. They had already discussed it last night and implemented the plan proposed by Mickey. A depressing atmosphere permeated among the ninjas. They know very well that this operation is likely to cause some casualties, or even wipe out the entire army, because they are very passive, they are looking for people to save people, and if necessary, they must take the initiative to fight the Kurigakure ninjas. They are all very strong, but the number of people is too small. Once it is confirmed that Lord Hengwang has really been arrested, this operation will become a life and death situation. Everyone, Lord Hengwang must be found, and the dead body must be found. Mito Jing, who had checked the weapons and equipment, raised his head and said, his eyes swept over every ninja present. He wanted to remember what they looked like at this moment, because may never be seen again. The other ninjas also looked at Mito Kyo with resolute eyes. They were all ninjas with rich mission experience, and they had all experienced 9 deaths and lives more than once. Action. Yes. Following Mito Kyo's orders, the ninjas complied with a bang. Call. At this moment, a whirlwind rolled up on a tree branch not far away, and a rich bloody smell followed. The 20 or so ninjas who were about to disperse stopped for a moment, and all drew their weapons in an instant. Chapter-160 Do you know who Blood Mist is? The battle-hardened Anbu ninja reacted very quickly, and his eyes were already on the tree, but after seeing the whirlwind, a little fisherman, with a package and a knife appeared. Luhan came back. After he counted the harvest last night, he slept again, and then hurried back to the meeting point, because he had to pretend that it took him a night to escape from Zinbei village, which was more reasonable. It's all incredible, but it's more acceptable to spend one night than 4 hours. What are you doing? Lu Han asked in a daze after he appeared, and all the Anbu ninjas stared at him. Sir. Lord Cold Light. Where have you been? We were trying to rescue you. Are you all right? Lord Cold Light. Seeing that Lu Han appeared, all the Anbu ninjas naturally put down their guard, and all jumped over quickly, each without the calmness that Anbu ninjas should have, and kept asking questions. Psychological gap is too big. They had all tried desperately to rescue Lu Han, but unexpectedly suddenly turned around and Lu Han came back by himself. Quiet, quiet. Lu Han jumped down from the branch and raised his hand. The 26 Anbu ninjas all shut up, and the forest fell silent. Who keeps my clothes? Give me, I'll put them on first. Who knows the sweetened water style? Give me a run. Lu Han even said, throwing the sickle and the burden aside, and began to undress. Although he put a lot of clothes in his space backpack, this kind of thing must not let other people know that what he wore before he disappeared, he must wear when he comes back. Shortly after, whose blood and blood had been washed away by the sweetened water-style ninjutsu, was standing under the tree wearing clothes. The inside was leggings, then he was wearing a ninja suit, the outermost black robe and leather boots. Last but not least, put on a mask. Sir, yesterday, Mito Jing, who was handing over each weapon to Lu Han, couldn't help but ask. More than 20 Anbu ninjas circled around, all of them looking at Lu Han and Mito Jing's questions, and also the questions of all of them. I met Uchiha Gumu. Lu Han then replied. He took the kunai, shuriken and other hidden weapons handed over by Mito Jing, and pinned them all over his body one by one. Mito Jing was startled and asked anxiously, Sir, are you not injured? No. Lu Han tightened his black robe and glanced at Mito Jing. It took only one night to escape from Zinbei village. Uchiha Gumu has taken refuge in Kurigakure, and now all the Kurigakure ninjas in Zinbei village are here. Look for me, I've been exposed. He took refuge in the village of Kurigakure. The damn traitor. The scum of the Uchiha clan. Several Anbu ninjas around couldn't help but scold them. For the ninjas of the 5 major ninja villages, the most important belief as a ninja is loyalty. Uchiha Goki's betrayal of Konoha is unforgivable, and it is naturally even worse to go to Kurigakure village. Excited. Anbu ninjas who didn't speak also looked a little cold. They were all ninjas directly under Hokage Anbu. They had absolute loyalty to Hokage and Konoha, so at this moment in their minds, killing Uchiha Gumu was not just a task, but as the mission of the Konoha Anbu ninja. Even for some people, even if they exchange their own death for the death of Uchiha Gumu, it is not at all hesitant. Don't talk about it. Lu Han snorted lowly, pinched the mask on his face, raised his eyes and glanced at the Anbu ninjas. Let's get out of here immediately. Leave the land of water, the situation is urgent, and now it's not just me who is exposed. The 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist have also returned to the country of water. They want to kill me to avenge the flying ninja. I estimate that it will not be long before the country of water will be blocked across the board. Lord Hangwang. Mito Jing hurriedly reminded, we can't just evacuate, we must kill Uchiha Gumu. This is an order from Lord Hokage himself. Yes, Lord Hangwang, Uchiha Gumu must be killed. Captain, you can go first. According to Anbu's rules, since you were exposed, you can leave the mission and return to Konoha. Yes, the task is left to us. Since it has been confirmed that Uchiha Gumu is in Zinbei village, we will kill him. Uchiha Goki must die. He knows too much about Konoha, he mustn't be kept. This damn bastard, he must have sold out Konoha's intelligence. There was another burst of excitement. After these Anbu ninjas knew that Uchiha Gumu had taken refuge in Kurigakure, they had already entered a state of being insane if they didn't kill Uchiha Gumu. Quiet. Lu Han raised his hand and made a gesture of silence. All the Anbu ninjas stopped talking and looked at Lu Han. only to see Lu Han leaning over and picking up the bag that had been left on the ground, untied it quickly, grabbed his hair, took out a head from the bag, and threw it in front of him the ground. The blood in the head had been drained, his face was gray, his eyes were still open, and the frozen 3-tomo Sharingan was expressionless. Uchiha Goki. I've killed it. The mission is over, Lu Han said. Silence. In the early morning, the chilling wind swept through the mountains and forests. The grasses bowed their heads, the fallen leaves tumbled, and the black robes swayed. The figures in black robes seemed to have turned into sculptures, motionless in the wind. Shocked. Just shocked. Lord Hangguang. Nito Jing turned his head stiffly to look at Lu Han. He had already determined that it was Gomyu. That face, Sharingan would not lie, and there was unspeakable disbelief in his interfering voice. How? You killed it. Otherwise, who else could it be? How could I be exposed if I didn't kill someone? How could it cause thousands of ninjas in Zenbei village to hunt me down? He took out the head and threw it on the ground. And him, killed together, this guy should be the ninja commander of Zenbei village. And this one, we also killed him together. This guy has a very high status. I can't be sure of his identity in Kurigakure, but I heard Gumu call him, Mr. Bloodmist. Lu Han threw a third head. A gleam of light flashed in the depths of Nito Kyo's eyes. Do you know who the blood fog is?